Attorney Malone, y'all good?
Yes, sir.
All right. As soon as Mr. Redmond is ready, we'll call everything to order.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh.
Mr. Redmond, can he give you all a thumbs up or something? He'll let me know.
We're ready to go.
All right, all right. Let us call our Weldon City Schools meeting to order at 7:13 p.m. And we're going to prepare to move forward very, very quickly. Let us prepare to read our mission statement of Weldon City Schools. Let us read that together. The mission of Weldon City Schools is to create and maintain a highly effective educational system in which every student receives the highest quality education. School employees and parents work together to prepare students to become caring, competent, and responsible citizens who value education as a lifelong process. All right, thank you so much. I'll kindly ask at this time that each board member, if you would review your agenda for tonight, if you would review your agenda very quickly and let us know, are there any additions or deletions that we need to make to our agenda? And if there are, would you please state them at this time? If there are none, we would entertain a motion to approve our agenda for tonight's meeting.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I have a couple of items.
Yes, sir.
One would be board meeting location.
Okay. And we will, let's put that under 10. Let's make that 10A if we can do that.
All right. And
hold on one second.
Okay.
I'm writing them down. All right. Yes, sir. What's the next one that
and
you
the
have?
second one is board image.
Board image.
Yes, sir. IMAGE.
Okay. And we can make that 10. Let's make that 10B.
All right. That's all.
All right.
I have a few as well.
Okay. All right. Let's go for it.
Water for all schools.
Water.
For all schools and extracurricular activities.
Can we put the water, can we combine that, board member Kay Robinson, under our building and grounds report? Can we have some discussion about that? Are you all right with that?
Yes.
All right, let's put that water there in collaboration with buildings and grounds. And what's your other one?
The other one, the other ones.
Okay, all right.
Universal mask mandate.
Let's see, that will be I think we have an update. Hold on, where did I see that? Or I thought I saw it. I may be wrong.
Number 6.
Yeah. Can we put that as
Yes.
D? You all right with that?
Yes.
Okay. 6D. And you say you want to make that universal what?
Mass update.
Universal. Okay. All right.
And the next one will be bus drivers.
Bus drivers, let's make that F under 6 then. Item
Okay.
F,
And
6F.
custodians.
You said bus drivers.
And custodians.
You want to put that together?
Yes.
Okay.
And I
Slash.
think
All right.
last one, I do believe, I can't find it right now, but it's under consent agenda, and it talks about federal funding. I like to pull that out and put it somewhere so we can know about exactly what grants we're applying for.
You talking about that's 9A, Roman number 3. It says federal program applications. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
You want to discuss that separately from the consent
Yes.
agenda? All
Yes.
right. Okay, so we just pull that and let's make that 10B. Excuse me, not 10B. Let's make that 10. Excuse me, not even 10. Let's make that 9B.
9B.
We just gonna pull that and just make the federal programs 9B so we can discuss it.
But 9B would be under,
Yeah, I liked your 10C better.
yeah, because 9B is be under consent agenda.
It's still under consent.
Okay, all right, we can do that. Let's make 10C then, and you want to pull federal programs there.
Yes.
Federal programs application. All right. All right. Okay, we'll pull that. All right, is it anything else? Anything else? All right. Hearing none, then a motion would be in order to approve our agenda for tonight as it has been amended.
I would like to make a motion that we approve our agenda for tonight that has been amended.
Second.
Thank you so much. The motion has been moved by Mrs. Harrison and seconded by Mrs. Jenkins that we approve our agenda for tonight's meeting as it has been amended. You've heard that motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known now by your voice vote? O.D. Sykes, aye. Ms. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrison?
Yes.
Mrs. Jenkins?
Aye.
All right, I don't think we have any other board members present. All right, let the record reflect unanimous approval of the amended agenda by the 5 board members present at this time. All right, let us move right into our thought for the evening, and we will ask board member Mrs. K.A. Robinson to share our thought for the evening.
Good evening, Wellesley Schools. I truly hope that all is well with you and your family during these uncertain times. At this time, I would like to share our thought for the evening, the 7 rules of life. Number 1, smile. It always works out in the end. Number 2, be kind. You have the power to make people feel good. 3, don't give up. If it doesn't work the first time, find another way. Number 4, don't compare. Everybody's on a different journey. Number 5, avoid negativity. Avoid negative thoughts and situations and people. Number 6, make peace with your past. Focus on being present and creating a better future. And number 7, take care of your body and your mind. Our struggle to survive without others. We cannot survive without others. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share those positive thoughts with you this evening. I pray that all is well.
Thank you so much, Ms. K. Robinson, board member Ms. K. Robinson, for giving us those enlightening thoughts of positivity for the evening. Thank you so much. All right, fellow board members, at this time, we'll entertain a motion, if we don't have any further questions, to approve minutes from the open sessions of July 15th and August the 3rd, respectively.
Make a motion to approve the minutes, August the 3rd and July 15th.
Second.
Thank you so much. The motion has been moved by Mrs. Jenkins and second by Mrs. Harrison to approve the open session minutes from our July 15th regular board meeting and our August the 3rd special call meeting. You've heard that motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Ms. Kay Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Harrison?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Jenkins?
Yes.
And O.D. Sykes, aye. Let the record reflect unanimous approval of the open session minutes from the aforementioned dates. All right, we will move into our reports at this time. We'll begin with our superintendent's report from Dr. Myrie.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Chairman Sykes, board members, principals, district staff, students, parents, and community. We are committed to leading, teaching, and learning with high expectations every day. We had a wonderful first day of school last Wednesday, August the 11th, 2021. The pandemic has caused us to pivot and do things differently. The Let's Talk About It video produced by our staff provided some timely advice for parents and students. We want our families and community to know that we are taking the pandemic seriously and that we are committed to keeping them safe. I want to thank our principals for their diligence in maintaining a safe learning environment and limiting the spread of COVID-19 in our buildings. I also want to commend our bus drivers, child nutrition staff, custodians, and our teachers for showing up and being committed to getting our students back to school in person. Thank you so much. And please, can we just give them a round of applause? On next Tuesday, we will host a virtual town hall meeting to answer questions related to back to school. Our families have an opportunity to ask questions in advance by entering them on the form posted on our website and social media channels. At our back to school virtual convocation for all staff, we were honored with a special guest, Miss Misty Copeland, the first African-American female principal dancer with the prestigious American Ballet Theater. She spoke about perseverance and high expectations. We thank her for taking time out of her busy schedule to encourage our staff. And I would just like to say it's not every day that a school district gets to have such a celebrity to speak to them. And so we were truly honored and grateful for that. I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank the Walmart Distribution Center for their donation of clothes, school supplies, and cleaning and safety supplies. Thank you also to Lowe's Distribution for their donation of cleaning and safety supplies. I would like to thank the parents who were involved with making this happen. And I would also like to thank Mrs. Terry Alston for coordinating the pickup and distribution of these supplies. Let's give those folks a round of applause because they didn't have to do that. Thank you. Would you please help me welcome, and I'm going to ask her to stand, Miss Andrea Dagnallen. Ms. Dagnallen is our new Director of Exceptional Children's Program and Student Services. Ms. Dagnallen started her new role on Monday and she has hit the ground running, and I would like to just welcome her publicly. Thank you. Since our last meeting, I have continued to meet with community leaders including Chief Davis of the Weldon City Police Department, President Elam, and Vice President Fields from Halifax Community College. I also met with members of the sheriff and fire departments due to the fire at Andrew Jackson School earlier this month. I want to thank them publicly for their swift action for containing the fire as well as their investigation. Let's give them a round. Thank you. I have completed my first month as superintendent, and as I shared earlier, there are 3 phases to getting a clear picture of the district. Phase 1, listening and learning. Phase 2, data analysis. Phase 3, dissemination of the report and preliminary recommendations for consideration. I'm still in phase 1. Weldon City Schools is filled with opportunities, and I am excited about what the future holds. The pandemic will cause us to learn new ways to reach some goals, but our focus will remain on high expectations and high student achievement. As I continue to listen and learn about Weldon City Schools, I would like to share my guiding principles that keep us focused on educating children. Every student, every hour, every day. That's number 1. Then we're going to go to intentional, coherent, laser focused on academics. Professional learning communities, making sure that we keep data at our forefront. Resource accountability, holding our staff accountable for the resources that we have in our care. High expectations for everyone. And finally, but not least important, a positive working professional learning environment. Finally, Mrs. Campbell and I had an exit meeting with the auditors, and we are in great shape financially. Mr. Smith will present the official audit at next month's regularly scheduled meeting. I'm excited about that. I'm going to ask us to hold our applause until the official audit is here, but I am grateful to Ms. Campbell, and I do want you to thank her. Just give her a small round of applause, because we want to make sure that that report is as great as he says that it's going to be when we get it next month. Again, we are, and I know that it will be. I'm very confident in that. Again, we are committed to leading, teaching, and learning with high expectations every day. Mr. Chair, this concludes my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Myrick, for your report tonight. I'm going to say tonight we have a whole lot on our agenda, and what I'm going to say is going to be very, very brief. Parents, students, and stakeholders, please know that our school board and our entire district, we're going to do everything within our power to keep learning at the forefront, because we want our students to excel and we want them to achieve. That's all I'm going to say tonight. We're going to move forward with the rest of our agenda. All right, we have item C on our reports tonight, HCC Board of Trustees nominations, and I think all board members have received that information, and y'all let us know what we need to do. Or what are your feelings, board members? Do we move forward, or do you want it advertised again? However you want to do it, just let's roll with it either way. Dr. Myrick, how many did we get? It was one application, I think, was sent to central office. Do we have other board members that had names of recommendation? Anyone?
Chairman Sites, I do believe we had
Yes.
one attached to our packet tonight, and I think we should move forward on that one said name. We have given, we extended the deadline that we were given, and that person did do what we requested and submitted their information. And I would hate for Weldon not to be represented at the August board meeting. And I do believe that usually happens the 3rd or 4th week of the month. So I suggest we move forward.
All right. Anyone else?
I agree that we move forward with the name that we have tonight.
All right. So at this time, Mr. Malone, Attorney Malone, I think we probably would need to state the name and give a motion, or it be motion that this particular individual would fulfill the unexpired term of the recent resignation of Mrs. Betty G. Cofield. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
No.
Yes, sir. That's exactly the way I think you would proceed.
All right.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the name of Barbie Sharon Boyd for our representation on the HCC Board of Trustees for the rest of the term, remaining of the term for Ms. Betty Grace Cofield.
Second.
Thank you so much. Motion has been moved and properly seconded that Mrs. Barbie Sharon Boyd would be our elected replacement to fulfill the unexpired term of the recent resignation of Mrs. Betty G. Cofield. You have heard that motion that has been properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, let it be known by your voice vote. O.D. Sykes, aye. Ms. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Jenkins?
Aye.
Mrs. Harrison?
Yes.
Let the record reflect unanimous approval of the 5 board members present for tonight. And we thank Mrs. Barbie Sharon Boyd for her willingness to represent us to fulfill this unexpired term of former Board of Trustee member Mrs. Betty G. Cofield. And while we're there, board members, before we move on, let me just share with us that the community college has reached out to me in respect that there is another seat that we have part as the Weldon City School Board of Education in filling on the Board of Trustees at Halifax Community College. And this seat is the vacated seat of former Board of Trustee member, Mr. John Smith. The 3 school districts in Halifax County each have to support this person. So it will be Weldon City Schools supporting, it will be Halifax County school system supporting, and it will also be Roanoke Rapids graded school district that would have to support. All 3 of us have to support the nominee. And I've also talked briefly with Chair Lady, Lord have mercy, Joyce Lashley from Halifax County. I have not spoken with Chair of Roanoke Rapids school system as of yet. Hopefully that, it will be something that all 3 boards could support, but I just wanted to give us that information. We do have another trustee that we have a hand in going to that board that all 3 school districts have to support. I don't know when that name will be presented to us. And this would be, of course, if they live in Halifax County, that all 3 school districts has that opportunity to support that person. So our work is not done. We still have to think of some more names in that respect that all 3 school districts can agree upon. So just wanted to give us that information as well. I was recently called and given that information. So we'll look forward to that in the coming weeks. All right. Just wanted to give us that information. All right. Moving on, academic updates. Dr. Myrick, who is coming to present that tonight?
Ms. Martin.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Is she ready? All right.
Yes.
Good evening, board chair, board members, Dr.
Good
Merrick,
evening.
and all of the guests here tonight, and as well as those virtual. With some good news. So as Dr. Merrick stated in his report, our students came back and they were energized and had a great first day. As you can see, they are walking down the hallways. They are in their seats. The rooms are beautifully decorated. You also have a picture of the principal at Weldon Middle School talking to her students as well as some of the staff members. These are our curriculum and instruction district team members. With testing and accountability, the assessment tools that we're going to use this year for grades K through 3, Amplify, M-Class, which is DIBELS, that is state funded. We're going to use NC check-ins, which is developed by NCDPI. It's no cost to PSUs or public school units. And we're going to do that for grades 4 through 8. For grades 9 through 12, we're going to use Case 21. That is district funded, and we have used Case 21 in the past. Testing updates, the window for beginning of year at WEGA is August 18th through September 9th. And August 25th, we're going to give our BARC 3 reading at WEGA. Student reading portfolio. So as you know, for grade 3, this is based on a Read to Achieve legislation. The portfolios are normally a part of 3rd grade. However, this year, the state has given us the opportunity to use the portfolio for instructional purposes. The recommendation is that these passages and scores not be used as part of the student's grade for the class. Mr. Wood, the assistant principal at the middle school, was actually trained using the portfolio guide. So he is in the process of training the 5th grade teachers at Weldon Middle School. The English 2 scores will be delayed, and this is because of the constructive response component. We should allow or just wait 6 business days after we have submitted that information for us to receive the online records. Instructional day, this just provides the times that each school start as well as the earliest drop-off time for each school site. Curriculum and instruction, Dr. Merritt alluded to this earlier when he talked about resource accountability as one of his guiding principles. So these are the programs and resources that we're currently using in the district as well as the schools where these resources are being used. I just talked about Amplify, but we're not Amplified DIBELS. This is the CKLA component and the text reading components. The elementary school already had CKLA in a printed format, so now they have digital access as well. ClassWorks is being used at both the elementary and middle school for universal screening, as well as tier online instruction. Edgenuity is what we typically use for credit recovery, but we can also use it for acceleration and enrichment opportunities, as well as initial credit and instructional too. Admin, study hour, and item bank. And Eureka Math is the curriculum that's being used at the elementary school. Read 180 is new to our district. It's intervention for struggling readers. We do have a training for Read 180 on next Friday. Okay. So I talked about or mentioned rather the Read 180. So the participants will be the EC teachers at WEGA. District CNI team members, EC department, and it will be led by HMH, and that's next Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. We also continue our partnership with East Carolina University, and they will provide our September 9th PD. This will be a virtual PD, and it is on a half day for students. It's from the Get Better Faster series. All instructional staff will attend. And then we'll hear from Ms. Deborah and Ms. McNally with our EC and preschool updates.
Good afternoon, board chair and board members, as well as Dr. Myrick, Mr. Attorney.
Ms. Deborah,
Yeah,
if you don't mind, hold 1 second. Can you get, is Mr. Redmond available? Is someone, is one of, all our board members on, or is someone trying to get in?
I think he's checking now. He says,
So I just added, I don't know whether that was.
I didn't hear you.
No, we're good.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I apologize, Ms. Deborah.
that's okay. From the Exceptional Children's Department and preschool updates, I have Ms. McNally standing with me as we're preparing to transition. So next month, you all will be seeing her standing here. But as far as our department goes, the EC internal processes for the initial referrals training that was required based on our complaint corrective action, that training has been completed. All instructional staff at all schools have completed the training. Also, the exceptional children staff has received additional training in that area. We have also met, Ms. McNally and myself have met with all principals, and we've talked about their vision for their schools and the exceptional children's department and preschool department. And we are starting to gather that information to plan for as we move forward. Weldon Middle School is still in search of an exceptional children's resource teacher. So if anyone out in virtual land wants to apply, please visit our website. We would appreciate it. The provision of speech services they are currently being reviewed due to an upcoming vacancy. We are seeking a new therapist in order to provide our services. Our current therapist will end her services on September 30th. However, we feel confident that our speech services will not incur a break because we are already working on possible replacements. And lastly, as far as the preschool, our preschool class slots have been filled, thank goodness. And all of our students are attending. There are a few students on our waiting list. Now, this is outstanding because when I came in, we had about 4 kids ready for preschool, paperwork wise. So now it is just indeed an awesome job that Ms. Sabernia Turner and Ms. Jones and the elementary staff did to make sure that our slots are filled. So our preschool children are there and they're ready, and our teachers are preparing for the ECHRS licensing renewal this year. So from our world of exceptional children in preschool, all is right with our world at this moment. And now I will move forward, and Ms. Terry Austin is coming for me. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, board chair, board members, superintendent, and the charge of community. I stand here to share highlights from the Federal Programs Department. I wanted to end in reference to our 21st century summer program. We successfully met all federal and state compliance requirements. We were monitored on July 6th, and we received back our information how we did meet all of our requirements. We had 81 participants that attended regularly. We had 101 that were registered, but the students that really attended regularly, it was 81. So I decided to share some pictures, and thank you for agreeing, but our students received their uniforms. So as you can see in the top photo, the karate students in their uniforms, the dance girls had theirs. as well as the academic and also the field trips that they partake in during the service, the program. I'm trying, what am I doing wrong? Okay. Also, as it relates to our ESSA programming, we are currently working towards fulfilling those goals that are included in the package. Currently, we have one bid, one submission that we're going to move forward with getting our design consultant. Maintenance is looking into going ahead, getting a electric pallet jack. And it was evident today that we needed it because we've had 4 crates or cartons of school supplies delivered. So it is well needed in the warehouse. We also have began advertising for the positions that are inside of ESSA. The summer program was a success. Those programs funding for HB 82 staff was paid, as well as summer transportation was paid from our ESSA funds. We currently have supply orders for our cafeterias, technology department, and school level supplies out of the ESSA funding. And as I always still feel like a picture is worth 1,000 words. Want to again highlight with Dr. Myrick, he spoke about the donations. I texted him as I was standing there. Mr. Turner got the biggest truck. He called U-Haul and we got the biggest truck that we could get. And I texted Dr. Myrick back, I said, the truck isn't big enough. And he thought I was joking. But literally we go back on this coming Monday because we left some items because the truck was not big enough. So I wanted to kind of show the pictures in the ones in the top left was the parent, Mrs. Allen. She was a past parent. She let me know that her children had graduated from Weldon City Schools, but she was still a charger. So we want to thank Ms. Allen for that. To your right, you see the supplies that came through Project Lift and Lowe's Distribution from Mr. Chris Martin. And we're just really thankful for it. The police department also we went on that Monday. The following Saturday, the police department visited and picked up from the Walmart distribution. So they will be adopting some of our students for Christmas. And also we participated with them on August 10th with the school supply drive down at the river. And we had teachers from here at Weldon Elementary School that provided, volunteered to assist with that program as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Chair, if I may, I failed to mention in my comments, I would like to ask Mr. Dwayne Waddy to stand. Mr. Waddy is the new principal of Weldon STEM Academies High School. He started this week, so we're very glad to have him. Thank you. Thank you and welcome. Actually, he started the first day of school. He started with the students, so very glad to have him. Thank you.
Dr. Myrick, please ask Mr. Waddy to come to the camera so our community can see the new principal at Weldon STEM High School Career Academies, if he would.
Okay, he's on his way.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Waddy. All right.
And that concludes our academic update, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you. Do we have any comments or questions from board members?
No.
All right. Thank you all so much. Moving on now to our monthly financial statement. Is Ms. Campbell going to share tonight or is it someone else?
Ms. Campbell, she's on her way.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Good evening, Board Chair,
Good evening.
Superintendent Dr. Merritt, board members, and staff. I would like to present to you your monthly financial statements for the month of July 2021, starting with Special Fund 8. Because this is the beginning of a new school year, we do not have a beginning balance. Our total deposits for the month of July was $39,249.66, bringing our year-to-date total to $39,249.66. Our total expenditures for the month of July was $42,077.91. giving us a net result for the year as of July 31st, 2021 of a negative $2,828.25. Our estimated fund balance as of July 1, and this is just an estimate based on the figures that I calculated, was $724,569, bringing our unobligated fund balance to $721,740.75. Once we receive the true fund balance, the July financial statements will be revised. Current expense, our total deposit was
Ms.
$80,700.
Campbell,
Yes, sir.
I apologize. I was accidentally muted. I want to go back real quick. You said our net result was a negative 28.25 in that report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm looking at it because I've asked before about, the negative. This is truly a negative, but I'm looking at that plus sign.
I forgot, I just saw it, I forgot to take it off. I apologize for that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't looking at it wrong. That should be a negative sign beside it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. And then a negative end result for the year then.
A
As of
negative,
now.
right, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you so much for that clarity.
Current expense, total deposit was $80,714.59. Our total expenditures for the month of July was $109,235.45, giving us a negative result of $28,520.86. Our estimated fund balance for current expense is $1,070,287, giving us an unobligated fund balance estimate of $1,041,766.14.
And these two should be negative signs where they're red,
Yes, sir.
correct? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Capital outlay, total deposit is $26,104.46. Total expenditures for the month was $4,858.17, giving us a net result for the as of July 31st of $21,246.29. Our estimated fund balance as of July 1st was $743,235, giving us an estimated unobligated fund balance of $764,481.29. Child nutrition, total deposit was $31,308.79. Total expenditures for the month was $31,025.57, giving us a net result for the year of $283.22. Our estimated fund balance is $278,177, giving us an estimated unobligated fund balance of $278,460.22. Those are your monthly financial statements for the month of July. Are there any additional questions?
Yes, Ms. Campbell.
Yes, sir.
I have one question. In looking at all of the financial statements that you gave from Fund 8, current expense, capital outlay, and child nutrition, it's something standing out to me. I want to know, how can you know what the exact net results for the year to the cent, but don't know where we were as far as the exact fund balance? I'm trying to figure that out.
The reason I cannot give you the true fund balance is because my estimate is based on as of June 30th, my expenditures and my revenues. But we had checks to come in July that was for the previous school year. And we have to make entries when the auditors come to put those on the books for the previous school year. So once those entries have been made, then we will get the true fund balance.
I got that, but I'm trying to figure out how we know how do you know what the net results are, whether they're in the negative or the positive, and everything hasn't cleared yet. It would seem to me that you wouldn't know exactly, because this could change. Listening to what you said tonight, that could possibly change.
Your net result will not change. Your net result is based on your year-to-date expenditures and your year-to-date revenues, based on what has come in. That is your net result. That figure will remain the same. It takes your expenditures and minus it from your revenue to give you your net result. That figure will not change.
I got that, but you also said there's some more entries.
That is part of the fund balance. That has nothing to do with the net result.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll wait and get everything as you said when everything comes, and then I'll compare that to what you presented to us tonight. And if I have any additional questions, I'll ask them then. I'll just wait till you get everything tallied. Thank you. Any other questions?
No.
All right. If not, thank you, Ms. Campbell. All right, building and grounds.
Under, Mr. Chair, under buildings and grounds, we have two discussion items: the pre-K building on Sycamore Street and the Andrew Jackson School property.
Right. Is Mr. Turner there tonight?
No, sir, he was not able to be with us tonight due to a family obligation.
Okay, so I guess what Miss Kay Robinson wanted to talk about the water, we can't discuss that tonight then because he's not there. Or I mean, before we get to the buildings, because she had asked about, and I just wrote it right under, not even looking at the other two per se. But can we get this water discussion first? See what Miss Kay Robinson wanted to know about that. Miss Kay Robinson, you muted.
Okay.
Yes.
Mine was not dealing with the water at the schools. I want us to provide water to our students.
Oh, okay.
We discussed it last month about us providing water to our extracurricular activities, specifically the football team, but that should be for volleyball and cheerleading as well. But I want to see, because right now we don't want our students to be sharing or going to the water fountains with COVID.
Thank you. Miss Deborah can address that in our school health plan, and she's at the podium.
Okay.
All right, good evening, you all again.
Yeah.
With regards to the water for the students and staff within the school buildings, Ms. Garner from Child Nutrition, Ms. Austin from Federal Programs, myself, we work together to ensure that waters are purchased weekly and provided to the schools, ordered through Child Nutrition, but paid for through funds other than Child Nutrition funds. Right now, we have it set where the high school will receive 24 cases of 80 bottles each week, and that water is also divided between the high school and RVEC. The elementary receives 12 cases of 80 bottles, and the middle school receives 12 cases of 80 bottles to be delivered every Monday. The principals have been instructed to receive the water from Child Nutrition once it's delivered, store it, and make sure that it's distributed to the classrooms throughout the day for staff and students. We have principal check-in meeting on tomorrow, and so we can get a better idea of their methods of distribution so that we can track it, because they were instructed to develop that. So the waters for the school day and in the school building have been taken care of, we believe, but now we've ordered them, had them provided. So now we have to make sure that the accountability piece has been done. I'm gonna allow Ms. Garner to come forward at this time and speak.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Our water was delivered on August the 9th through Cisco. And I emailed the principals and the managers to let them know the water was coming in. And the principals also had to get the water, store it. Our vet did not receive theirs until yesterday. It was not delivered to them. So hopefully, Mr. Turner will get it out to them on Monday when it come in.
So, Ms. Garner, so you saying that RVAC has to wait until Monday of next week?
RVAC has water. Theirs was delivered to them yesterday through
Okay.
Mr. Turner. It had came in on the 9th.
Okay.
But they did not get it until yesterday.
And they're scheduled to get their water again on Monday like everybody else?
Every Monday.
Okay.
I guess my next question would be, are the principals or is the Mr. Waddy making sure that our after school activities such as volleyball, football, and cheerleading right now, are they receiving their waters?
Also, thank you, Ms. Robinson. I have Mr. Lynch here. He's gonna address how they're doing it in after school and athletics.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, good evening. As far as athletics, all of the athletes have received their own individual water bottles.
Okay.
But they do not have to bring them to practice. We provide individual cups for each and every athlete that is in attendance. The ice maker is now repaired. So we are getting the ice from the gym right now. We're no longer going to the cafeteria to get the ice or to the fire department. But as far as the drinking water, we're getting that still from the facilities, from the field house, but they're all drinking out of their own individual cups right now, or the individual water bottles that were provided by Weldon High School.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Coach Lynch.
Yes, sir.
I heard you say water bottles. And board member Kay Robinson, I'm not trying to speak for you or put words in your mouth. But I thought we were under the impression, well, I was under the impression, let me say it that way, that the water that was going to come in for our students, it was going to be bottled water. It would be nothing that they would have to get from a fountain or a field house or anything like that. That's what I thought it was. It was bottled water that all our schools were going to receive and our student athletes were going to receive. But I'm hearing you say something different, unless I missed it.
I believe we spoke on having individual squeeze bottles for every student. We would get the ice from the fire department. I'm not sure if we said that the water would be coming in bottles for athletes, but I know it was mentioned that the water would be coming from the field house as of right now.
Okay, all right. And I know we talked about that ice machine, and I know we talked about during our last month meeting, hopefully that we could just get a new ice machine and stop patching up, that we would have something that would be durable. And I heard you say today that it was patched or it was fixed to your understanding, yes, but you were able to get ice there from now. And so I guess I need to ask Dr. Myrick, was this ice machine just temporarily fixed, or was that a new ice machine that was purchased?
I spoke with Mr. Turner, and the first thing I asked him to do was to look at the ice machine to see what was wrong with it. And basically, from my understanding, is that the ice machine needed cleaning because of the hard water. The water that comes into the machine was causing some buildup in it, and it needed to be cleaned out. And so that was done. And once that cleaning was done, the ice machine is working. And he said that, I believe he said it could produce up to 500 pounds of ice. And I verified with him today that the ice machine was working. And I've also asked him to make sure that we continue to have it maintained so that that buildup will not stop the machine from working again. So from my understanding, it was that the machine needed to be cleaned to get those deposits off so that it will operate properly. And I have not heard anything from Mr. Lynch about whether or not it wasn't working. And to my understanding, I'm looking at him now, that things are going along with the ice machine once we got once Mr. Turner found someone to go in and clean it.
Yes, it was repaired yesterday, finished and repaired yesterday by, I want to say, Patton Mechanics. And I also wanted to mention that it is our goal to make sure all athletes have cold bottled water. But I'm just not sure if we spoke on that last time. But our cheerleaders our volleyball team competed today against Kip High School, and they all had bottled water. And we provided enough for the other team also. That is the goal for every game. That is the goal.
Well, I thank you for that, Coach Lynch. I think that needs to be factored in for our student athletes for both high schools and our middle school, that we have ample water supplied. And I don't know whether it needs to go through the principals or if that's something that you being our athletic director, that's something that, Dr. Myrick and Mrs. Garner, and you can work out to make sure that the student athletes have bottled water, and, even helping to share with other students that come to compete with us. I think that's commendable, what you are striving to do as our athletic director. And Dr. Myrick, I would hope that you can relay to Mr. Turner, that ice machine needs to stay working properly. I don't think it should have had to come to this. And then the day before, our student athletes are preparing to contend against another school that is fixed. That's a long time from last month's meeting to this month's meeting, and to hear that it was just fixed yesterday. So that means that our own student athletes had to go the duration from last month's meeting up until yesterday. Our football players, our volleyball players, our cheerleaders, and they didn't have ice to have cold water to drink. I'm
sorry, but yes, they did.
No, I know they did from the fire department when you went and got ice. I get that. I understand that. But I'm talking about our ice machine at the high school. I mean, if it was a matter of just being clean, I would think that, we would be the maintenance department would be staying on top of that better than that if it just needed to be clean. That's my point. Right.
And I do want to say that the meeting, when we discussed the ice machine, was the beginning of this month, the specially called meeting that we had. And so we got on it the next day.
All right.
Thank you for that information.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Let's move on then. We've talked about the water with the pre-K building on Sycamore Street. Dr. Myrick, do you have the persons that had initially reached out to us? Did they send another letter?
They did, but I'm looking at Attorney Malone. Do we share that information about the pre-K building? The person who reached out to us? Yes, so we did have someone who reached out to want to purchase the building. And then when I emailed her to let her know that the board had not made a decision on what to do with the property at this point. And they responded with, they would like to lease the building if purchase was not an option. I didn't bring a copy of that email with me tonight, but I have shared that with you via email, and I can find that information and get it out to you again. We need that.
Well, one thing I think in talking about it, and I've kind of alluded to this before with Dr. Myrick. I think, you know, we as a board, we can weigh our options, leasing with an option to buy, or selling, you know, right out. But however we would choose to proceed, or we could choose not to do anything with it at all in that respect. But however we choose to proceed, especially if we're talking about selling, you know, I think we need to have all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed as far as, you know, what the tax value is, what the real property value would be, you know, if we sold it. And I don't know if that would cost us anything to actually have a realtor to look at the property and, you know, assess fair market value. That's where I am. If it, you know, if we were leaning towards selling it, I just don't know. And of course, there are some protocols that we would have to follow if we would choose to sell it. And our lawyer has made us aware of that, you know, deeming it as surplus. And of course, you know, you have to give the right, the first right to purchase. I believe Attorney Malone, correct me if I'm wrong, to county commissioners, and then, you know, all of those things have to work into it if we were to choose to sell it.
Yeah, you are correct. Those are certainly the first two steps, would be to declare it surplus, and then to offer it to the county commissioners. And then if the county commissioners choose not to acquire it, then there are various options within the statute for how the board might then go about disposing of real property. One of which would be the upset bid process, which is the process used most often by public school systems. In that process, you would receive an offer from someone within the community to purchase the property. And if that offer were deemed adequate, then you would subject that offer to the upset bid process. One of the advantages in that process is that it typically will get you the real value of the property. If there are people out there who are interested in it, then they would bid against each other, and then, you know, the final price would then kind of be deemed to be a fair price. Certainly the board could, you know, choose some other version of trying to determine a value of the piece of property and then, you know, solicit offers in that manner. But the upset bid process certainly is deemed by boards and the statute to get you to the price, you know, that the property is worth. Old school properties are, you know, there's a catch-22 with them at times because they often have asbestos, and sometimes they have underground storage tanks and other things that, you know, kind of adversely, you know, impact their value. We found over time.
Okay. So board, do you all want to have the property assessed to find out the real property? Are you not prepared to go forward at this time until we have that information? And then, you know, we probably could decide at a later date exactly whether we wanted to lease with no option to buy, lease with an option to buy, or just outright sale. And of course, I would suggest to us, you know, if we were to choose to just sell right out, that we definitely would probably need to have the property assessed with a value from a realtor. That's just me. Any further discussion? I mean, is it any action? Do you want to take it up at another meeting, or? And I only say that because these individuals, you know, they're sending Dr. Myrick letters, and right now he's at a standstill because there's no action from us, and the only thing he can say to them is, you know, the board has not made a decision. And I mean, I think a sign of good faith is we at least had the property assessed with a value, and then that will put us in a better, I think, a better headspace to know what we would want to do or what we could do.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
as for me as a board member, right now, I would say that, you know, I see we are talking about have a board retreat or something. I think it's something that the board need to talk about a little bit more before we make any decision. That's my suggestion.
I agree with Ms. Jenkins.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so basically from we already have 3 with the ones that have spoken up, and I have no problem with that. That can be a discussion item for our board retreat. I think that's a wonderful suggestion. Mrs. Jenkins, we just look to take that up then. And could I ask of us, would everybody be all right if Dr. Myrick did get a realtor to look at the property to assess what the value is, so we can have a more informed conversation when we come to our board retreat?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Board, are you all fine with that?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Williams, you all right with that? Did we lose Mr. Williams?
Fine.
You all right with that, Mr. Williams?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, all right. Did we have another board
Ms.
member to come?
Robinson is on the phone.
She is?
Yes.
Okay. Mrs. Bird Robinson, are you there?
It says muted right now.
Okay. All right. Attorney Malone, were you trying to get my attention?
Yeah, I was. I just wanted to clarify in case I got a call from Dr. Myrick. Are you authorizing him to hire a realtor to come and assess the property? Are you asking him to hire a realtor to help sell the property? Or are you suggesting that there's a realtor who will gratuitously look at the property and give you a price?
I was thinking I wasn't talking about selling. I was agreeing with what Ms. Jenkins said. We take it up at our board retreat, but a part of the discussion for our board retreat, I think it would be a fair thing to have the property assessed to see how much it is worth. And after we find that, then if it was a discussion or something to sell it after our board retreat, we would be able to make a more informed decision. So I think probably we need to have a realtor to assess the property to give us a fair market value of what it would be worth. That's what I'm saying.
Right, and I'm just trying to clarify whether you're asking Dr. Myrick to pay a realtor to provide that assessment, because there may not be a realtor, maybe there is, that would do it gratuitously. And I just want to make sure that he understands what you're asking him to do. If someone says, I'll do that for $2,000 or whatever, just so that we're on the same page before I get the call from him.
Gotcha. So I guess we would need a motion in that respect then, correct?
Mr. Chair.
don't necessarily need a motion. I just think if we could all be clear that because he's got $10,000 in contractual authority, but I didn't want him to spend $2,000 on that, and then he brings it to the board, and you're like, well, we didn't want you to pay somebody. So
I got you. Sure.
I just
Sure.
want to make sure that he's clear on exactly what the expectations are if it's going to cost a couple $1,000s to get this assessment.
Okay, let me say this then. Can we say if we can find somebody that would do it generously for us, and if not, then the superintendent has to do what has to be done to get the information that we need to make an informed decision.
Right.
I think if the board supports that concept, then he and I can work through it going forward. That would be great.
Okay, and before we finalize that, Mr. Williams, I think had a comment or question.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Will we be looking for a realtor or someone to come in and appraise the property? Because a realtor is not going to be as concise as someone come in and do an appraisal of the property.
Or we could say appraisal. That's fine with me. Whichever one would work. I just said realtor because we're talking about real property, with land and a building. That's why I said, realtor. But if we can get somebody to appraise it, I think it will serve the same benefit. Because what I'm after personally is the information, and I think that's what we need as a board, if everybody agrees.
But a realtor will give you a general appraisal of what the house or what the property would sell for, and he'll ask you probably what you want to sell it for, what you think you can get out of it. Now, appraiser is going to come in and they're going to measure each part of that building,
right,
and give you pretty much a precise answer as to what you're looking for.
Well, I can go with the appraisal. I'm like I said, I'm fine with it. I just want us to have information to make an informed decision of whether we wanted to sell it or not, because I would hate to see us sell it if it was something that we could have done to hold on to it, or if there's some grant funding out there, things of that nature. I just want us to look at all of our options before we would just make a decision to just sell it. We may say one price and it's appraised for 2 times as much. And, so I can go with the appraisal, Mr. Williams.
Yes,
If the board is fine with that.
Mr. Chair, before we take any more votes or motions, we ask Thomas to please unmute Ms. Bird Robinson on the board side.
Okay.
She's been trying to talk and couldn't.
We can't unmute her. She will have to do that. He said that he couldn't unmute her.
She says she's on mute she's unmuted on her side.
The only option we have is to ask her to unmute, and he's done that.
So,
okay.
I'm sorry, the only thing I would point out is that an appraisal is definitely going to cost, number one, and two, that they don't always happen very quickly. So that, I don't know, when is the work session or retreat?
They would, I'm assuming they would decide on the date tonight.
Oh, okay. So if you just may not have an appraisal back by then. This is the only thing I would point out. And yeah, that's the only thing I would point out.
Okay. So which way do we need to go? Which way do you suggest, Attorney Malone, that the realtor or an appraisal?
So, and I guess what you might want to do, although what you could consider doing and what many boards would do is make the first decision about, do you want to sell the property or not? And I don't know that you have to know the value of the property to kind of get over the threshold issue of whether you would or would not sell it. And then if you decide at the retreat, let's say that, yes, you're interested in selling the property, then the expenditure of money for an appraisal or to look at the other options that are available for how you might dispose of it. Because you might decide that, yes, you want to sell it, let's hire a realtor, and the realtor gets some commission, obviously based on the sale, and you don't have to spend money up front to have them try to market the property. Some school systems treat it like regular real property, hire a realtor, and the realtor gets paid a commission on the sales price. They find you a buyer that you're okay with. They would then place a value on it based upon whatever process they would use. And then when they bring you that name or that price, then you would run that price through the upset bid process. So some school systems choose that option. Some school systems put a for sale sign out in front of the building once you decide that you want to sell it and see what interest is generated, once the public knows that the property is actually for sale. And then sometimes people do actually, hire an appraiser for a piece of property, if you think the property has, some significant value. The other option is to reach out to the Halifax County Tax Department and find out what the tax value of the property. There's certainly an indication of the value of the property that may be sufficient for your retreat. It wouldn't cost you anything and give you a ballpark figure from which you could, then begin the discussion. So again, there's many different ways to proceed. It's just a matter of ultimately, how the board wants to proceed.
All right. Well, I guess with that being said, then it's probably just going to be best that we just hold off completely until our retreat and we get all of that information squared away there. And that would be my opinion of it. We just wait and get it all and talk about it during our retreat then.
And you could maybe have Dr. Murray try to get the tax value, because that's just a matter of pulling, having somebody pull it up, and then at least
sure
you'd have that information to give you at least a starting point for value.
That I think that will probably suffice. And if we need to go any further, we can handle that during our retreat then. Board members, do y'all agree with that?
Yes, we agree with that.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Do you all want to do the same thing as far as Andrew Jackson is concerned then?
Yes.
I think we can have both of them for our retreat then.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right. Okay. So we'll save both of them for our retreat then. All right. We'll go now to number 6 if there are no other questions or comments. All right, let's go on to number 6 then with our back to school and school health.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Devereaux is going to take it from here.
Good evening once again. Good evening. I come before you to speak to you about 3 different topics regarding back to school and school health. However, prior to that, we have Mr. Bruce Robistow with us. He's not? Okay, he's not with us. Maybe he may come in at some point to give us our updates from the Halifax County Health Department. But I'm gonna move forward with our school health plan update. How are we doing? We're gonna talk about how we're doing, what we're doing, and where we go from here. I wanted to share this specific data with you regarding our district data as of August 18th. The enrollment of our school district is 631 students as of yesterday. Students in quarantine, 91% of the cases that we have of students who are quarantined, which is 21 of the 23 cases, had confirmed either exposure or confirmed positive results prior to the first day of school. So 91% of our students who were exposed or confirmed, it was done prior to the first day of school. And we do update the spreadsheet for our board to view our daily cases and our daily data. We try to update it by 5 o'clock each day. So today's data has not been updated yet. Positive cases, 83% of the cases that were confirmed that we had in our district was confirmed prior to the first day of school. 83% of the cases. I did not put a specific number here because this number was less than 10 children. And in an effort to preserve confidentiality, because we are on social media, we just wanted to give you the percentage. But we have a small number of positive cases, and 83% of those cases were confirmed prior to the first day. Staff cases, same rationale. We have less than 5 staff members who have been deemed positive, and you all can refer back to the spreadsheet that is available for you to see specific school data. As far as our process for delivering alternative learning programs based on exemptions approved by the principal, we have 19 students who have received those approved exemptions, and that equates to about 3% of our student population, which is very good considering we are a small district. And so our schools have done an outstanding job this first week in trying to alleviate the spread of of that COVID. So what are we doing? We are trying to take every step that we can to prevent the spread. Our schools are reinforcing the safety protocols given to us by the CDC, as well as the NCDHHS, by enforcing mask wearing, physical distancing, hand hygiene. I do want to say, and I know you know, that nothing's perfect, but we are steadily trying to improve each day. And I commend our teachers and our principals and our school staff for trying to do the best that they can to enforce these 3 protocols. We also promoted safety habits within our building. Our district, we've launched our Let's Talk About It campaign on our website as well as social media. Also, our student services department is working with our students to ensure that they are able to articulate how they're feeling socially and emotionally about the state of where we are in with this pandemic. Our school health plans address at staff meetings. All of our principals have met with their staff and meet with them regularly to ensure that they are promoting safe habits. Also, there is frequent building monitoring by the principals and the student health team, which is inclusive of myself, central office, as well as the nurses. We're monitoring to ensure that practices are being adhered to. And our bus drivers are equipped with masks and they are sanitized regularly to do their part. In addition to that, we are promoting safety habits within our community. I spoke a few minutes ago about our Let's Talk About It campaign. We're having our virtual town hall, which is going to be held on this Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Our school nurses were at all schools for open house, and they are continuing to speak with families daily. And with regards to athletics, all of our fall sports, volleyball, football, and cheerleading, they are practicing prevention protocols, and Mr. Lynch is going to talk more about that in a few minutes. And students are screened daily with temperature checks via either the electronic scanning device or the handheld devices. Where do we go from here? And at this point, this is where I need you all's input as our board. One, we have to adopt our district COVID-19 safety plan, which I shared with you all at our last meeting together. And then from that, we're going to implement our approved school safety plans, which will be based on our district plan. We're also going to explore participating in the ABC Science Collaborative, as well as Dr. Myrick, myself, and a couple of our board members attended the webinar on the K-12 testing program, which is offered by DHHS. So our district school health plan covers face coverings, physical coverings, screening, testing, handling suspected or confirmed cases, symptoms, hygiene, isolation, quarantine, protecting vulnerable population, the alternative learning arrangements, cleaning, hygiene, transportation, as well as water and ventilation. And so I present to you all the draft in which was provided for your consideration for approval for approval tonight for the Weldon City Schools School Health Plan. Are there any questions that you all have? Or if you would like to make a motion?
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead, Board Member Robinson.
That this may take off the transportation piece, but bus drivers that we added to the agenda, since Mrs. Deborah mentioned transportation for the school health plan. My question is, are they being paid for this time that they need to clean in the mornings and in the evenings? Is that allotted in extra time? Given?
Yes, that is part of their route time.
Okay, so how much time are they being given to clean?
I believe it's 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon.
So they have 15 minutes to, what, do they have the sprayers or do they have to wipe it down?
Well, they have the materials to wipe it down, and Mr. Tillery has the sprayer where he sprays. I know he sprays in the afternoon. I'm not sure about the morning, but I can check that. But they do have the materials to wipe it down.
Okay, so they have to sweep the bus and wipe it down in 15 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes, that's the time allotted.
Yes.
I personally think that they need more time for that if we want them to perform it in a way that needs to happen. And that's just my opinion.
Well, I would concur with that, Ms. K. Robinson. I think they need a half hour in the morning and a half hour in the evening, minimum. If you know, because you know, you're talking about wiping down, that's probably 15, 20 minutes by itself. And you're really looking at another 15, 20 minutes trying to sweep in between each seat and take out trash.
Right.
So, you know, I would say no less than an hour, 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening for our bus drivers to do cleaning. Hello?
Ms. Bird Robinson is on the phone. And so she has a question.
Yes. Yes.
And also also what you and Ms. Robinson said, they were given the 15 minutes prior to COVID. We know that there's some extra steps now, so we certainly have to give them at least 30 minutes in the morning, 30 in the evening.
All right.
I'm sorry?
Does that require a vote?
Probably to change, yes, yeah. I think that's always clean on these issues.
Okay.
Oh, let me say this before we go into a vote, and we may be able to add it all in. Also, I've gotten some calls on this, some other board members have too, about buses being packed. And I do know that Ms. Hale made a motion earlier this month, August 3rd, when we met about our students being at least 3 feet apart on buses. From what I've been told, that's not happening. And if we have to have additional bus drivers or double routes, we need to make sure that's happening, because our children in Halifax County are getting COVID rapidly, and we need to try to prevent that at all costs.
Okay. I do meet with Mr. Tillery as well as Ms. Lewis in transportation. And they were reviewing the routes. We met yesterday. And on Monday, we're coming back to look at the routes again. So I make sure that we look to check and make sure that those 3 feet distances are being followed.
Okay.
And if we need to implement a double route or another route, however we need to do it, have another bus driver, I think we need to do what needs to be done for everybody to feel comfortable.
Yes, sir.
And my last issue regarding the health plan is regarding the custodians. I'd like to know, in the past, when we were in school in the spring of this year, we were off on Fridays. We were virtual on Fridays, and that gave custodians time to deep clean the classrooms and the entire buildings for Weldon. At this point, when is that deep cleaning going on, since we in school 5 days a week?
That is done after the school day ends.
And one of the things that we've been talking with the principals this week about how we can make that happen. One principal I know of, well, a couple of them are looking at staggering the custodian schedules.
Okay.
So that their day will start later to give them more time to do the deep cleaning in the afternoon. I'm not sure if it started yet, but after this meeting, when we do our check-in tomorrow, we'll get more information about that to share with you all.
Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions?
I guess my question would be, I know funds were provided in the ESSER funds that we received, in combination, I guess, with our own custodians, because even if our custodians start working later in the day, whatever was supposed to be done with the regular school day, they still have to do regardless of what time they get there. So I guess my concern would be, can we offer the present custodians extra hours that they could be compensated for? Or could we have hired more custodians that would assist, to, even if the day started longer or somebody came in after those custodians, to actually do the deep cleaning on a daily basis. I mean, is that I know that's something that we probably could do, but has any conversation been given in that regard?
Yes, we have talked about that, the need for additional custodians. And as I said, we're going to have our second check-in home tomorrow. And so that's what we talk about, our needs. And that need did come up last week when we talked. And so we're looking at the staff that we have, looking at the configuration. And if we need to move forward to get additional people, we're going to do that.
Okay.
Mr. Robertson, but we can finish this and then.
Any other questions about our health plan?
I think one last thing that I had added that can go right here is the universal mask mandate. My question is, if we're having meetings or other people who are not a part of our system request to use the building, are they required to wear a mask?
Yes, anyone using any of our school buildings have to abide by our school rules. And that is one of our district rules.
Okay, now does that include the central office?
Yes.
Okay.
And was your question addressed, Ms. K. Robinson, about the bus drivers and custodians?
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. K. Robinson, Board Chair.
Ask the question before we, I want to understand this because of what Ms. Robinson has said about the bus drivers for the extra hours, you know, with that. Well, I guess about that extra hour, 30 minutes of the morning, would that be added in, and about the custodian with the cleaning? That's just what I want to understand that too. Will that be in there?
So are you asking, we will add it into this plan like this, or are we just gonna approve it and start doing those things? You want me to put it in this plan, or just we take an action, and that's a practice? I'm saying either way, we can put it in, that'll be fine. Or do you want us to just move forward and implement based on the board's decision?
But let me ask you this question, if I may. I don't know whether I need to ask the superintendent, but anyway. About this, the way to cleaning, I know that custodian cannot, like the chair said, clean every day. Where are we at, I guess, to the superintendent? Where are we at if we had school 4 days a week and on Friday did that remote learning and they cleaned the schools thoroughly that day? Or, you know, where are we at when it comes to that? I guess I asked superintendent, right, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where would we be as a board to, if we would decide on as a board to do this with this virus like it is.
Right.
And I'm very concerned for our students, because I'm concerned for myself. So I gotta be concerned for everybody else, the staff, the teachers, everything. And for me as a board, I think it would be a good thing right now until this virus get better. I'm just putting it out here. I'm only one board member. I think that would be a good idea until this virus get better, to 4 days in school, and on Fridays go remote, and that way we can make sure that the school is thoroughly clean. Now, I'm just speaking for myself, but I mean, where would we be if we would do like that? And that's you as superintendent.
Right. So I'm going to have to ask Attorney Malone to help me out on this one. Is that something that school districts are still allowed to do?
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I don't think that's an option now. I mean, that was kind of built into specifically built in and allowed under the old toolkit. Now you're back to regular school. And you know, some systems have like created a virtual school, but they did that kind of back when they had time to create such a school. But yeah, you know, your options are somewhat limited now, as I understand it. I don't think you've got the ability to go to 4 days a week currently. I mean, I can check on that with some people in the office, but I haven't seen anything that we've been sending around that would suggest that modifying your calendar to a 4 day a week and 1 day of virtual is allowed under the current rules. Again, all of that was kind of created by the legislature and the governor, the toolkit and all that, and that's not, I can check. I mean, I'll certainly look into it, but I have not heard anybody. I mean, of all the options that I've heard people discuss, I have not even heard anybody mention that 4 day on and 1 day off option that people used last year.
So you're telling me that none of the students are not like going a day and working?
I'm not aware of any of our clients that have, or anybody that's contemplated that option under the rules that are in place right now. Again, because that was kind of a created rule within the toolkit that existed at the time. And now, and that's just not an option that I've seen. And everybody is voting on whether or not to require masking or not, or optional masking. But I'm not aware of anybody that's looking at 4 days on and 1 day off. Again, I'll check, but I'm not aware of that option even being out there anymore. You know, and when there's a guy in our office that's way more in the weeds on some of this than I am. But even when Dr. Myrick and I and you know, we had a conference call and discussed options, and he didn't even mention that as an option that's available. And certainly in none of the memos that we've sent the boards, you know, has that even been an option that we've included in any of our memos. So again, the people in my office who've been really studying this and following it, I just have not even heard that option discussed.
And the superintendents that I've spoken with, I haven't heard anyone saying that
it's just not. It doesn't. It was created. It was created last year to help kind of get people back in, but I think right now the plan is go back to school. Now, how long that will last, I don't know, but right now the plan is go back to school.
Ms. Debro.
Yes.
I have a question in somewhat, I guess, a little different respect. I saw in your report that you listed our ADM as 631. Have all of the students in that 631 number, have they been verified? Have we seen 631 students in school? Because I want to know what the breakdown is per school, or have students been carried on our ADM this year that technically were not in our schools last year, at the high school in particular? Because my understanding, and I have not been there, but just asking from teachers and parents, it's my understanding that we have not had 100 students at the high school yet. I mean, can you give us some information on that?
Yes, sir. Every one of those 631 students have enrolled. They have been to school. In order to get counted, they have to be present in the building for the school day. Now, we do have some attendance issues. However, on the spreadsheet that I update with you all every day, it tells you exactly how many children are counted, you know, eyes on them. And the Power School managers update that spreadsheet. I'll update the spreadsheet for us to get out. So those numbers are directly children who are in school based on the teacher's attendance.
Okay.
Are there any other questions about our plan? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You to vote. Mr. Chair, this requires board action, the plan.
Oh, okay, it didn't have action listed. Okay. This is what? A, B, C. Well, I guess A and B is more so the plans, correct?
Right, all A and B, yes, are plans that we have to, they are plans that we have to have approval for in order to proceed. But the school health plan, and you're exactly right, it wasn't listed as action item to vote on it. But yes, we do need to vote on it, so I can move it from draft status to board approval.
Okay. So basically, we're voting on A and B then, right? Am I correct?
Yes, we're gonna move to A and B. We're gonna move to A and B because both of them have MOUs to be approved.
So what we're doing now is just the district school health plan.
Yes, ma'am. It's kind of a continuation from our last conversation at our call meeting where I presented it as a draft.
Right.
And I said when we come back, we're gonna need to approve it.
Okay.
And I'm just for clarity, A and B is the two things that we need to be voting on.
We haven't gotten there yet.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, all right.
And I don't know why, because Ms. Deborah was sitting with me in my office today when I uploaded the plan that Mr. Redmond is showing on the screen, which says it requires board action.
It's under the 6 by itself.
Okay,
If you go to the 6, before
Right.
A and the B, it's there. Oh, you mean that version that says?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
so that is interesting that it's not there. But on the slide that we have for the district health plan, this is the health plan that we brought to the board on August the 3rd to give you an opportunity to review and ask any questions. And our schools have been using the draft version of the plan. And so tonight we need the board to, we're asking the board to adopt our district health plan so that we can move it from draft status.
So we wait for a motion, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, before we get to the motion, I'll state, so we need to, however we need to vote to go ahead with it, A and B. I made it perfectly clear during our last meeting. I don't feel comfortable. I don't think we should be doing any testing. That's something that everybody should go to their physician for. And I know I will be outvoted tonight. I understand that, but I still state my reservations with that. So however the motion goes, if you combine it all, then, you know, I know what to do. I'm going to stand on that. I think everybody should be going to their physician for this testing that you all are proposing in that plan.
Thank you. But Mr. Chair, if I may, the piece that you're referencing, we have not gotten there yet. That is a separate piece. That is something new that has come up, and two board members, Ms. Kay Robinson and Ms. Bird Robinson, attended a session with us on that. So what Ms. Deborah is asking for now is the health plan that was presented at the meeting on August the 3rd. And then once we can get some action on that one, then we will move to the ABC Science Collaborative and the testing, the COVID testing information.
Okay, I guess the way yours is updated on your end, mine isn't updated in that respect. It's just back to school health update. Mine doesn't say plan or anything, and that's why I guess, you know, where I'm off at. What I got off assembly does not say that specifically, and it's more so listed like different things up under, and where we added the universal mass update in bus drivers, and now Ms. Kay Robinson was saying that she included that was all right what we talked about. That's why I guess I'm a little off in that respect. So we're just looking at 6, period, back to school health update, the plan that has been presented. Then we're going to A, then we're going to B, and we've already gotten the athletic update part, or we got some additional questions with the athletic update part.
That's correct. There's some additional pieces for athletics.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So a motion is in order then with this plan.
I move that we accept the district school health plan as amended and updated.
Second.
Second.
Motion has been moved and properly second to approve the school health plan that has been presented tonight. You've heard that motion. Is there any unreadiness or further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voting sign at this time or your voice vote? Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jenkins?
Aye.
Is Ms. Bird Robinson on?
Aye.
Okay, all right. Ms. Bird Robinson is here with us now in that respect. Thank you so much. And O.D. Sykes, nay. Let the record reflect 5-1 vote, and the motion passes.
Thank you all so much. Now, if we can move to our next slide. The ABC Science Collaborative, I'm presenting to you. We have an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, and a DUA agreement that I'm submitting to the board that Weldon City Schools may participate in the ABC Science Collaborative. The ABC Science Collaborative pairs scientists and physicians with school systems to help them understand the most current and relevant data about COVID-19. Within this collaborative, we share and highlight existing data with this MOU is asking school leaders to share and highlight existing data from the state and local health department, provide new data as it becomes available, help school communities understand existing and new data so that they may practically apply it to their unique school communities, as well as provide opportunities to participate in COVID research that may prepare a better future for our kids. With this particular collaborative, it's a group of people who are like-minded in science, as well as those who are like-minded in education, coming together to look at the science to make decisions about how we move our schools forward. So I'm submitting this MOU to the board for approval of action that we may be able to participate in this ABC Science Collaborative. Are there any questions?
Ms. Deborah, you're going in and out with your mic. I don't know where it is.
I don't know.
Okay, now we can hear you really well.
Okay. All right, so I am submitting this ABC Science Collaborative MOU so that Dr. Meyer may sign it and submit it, saying that Weldon City Schools will be able to participate in this collaborative so that we can get vital information and make good decisions about how we move forward in this pandemic. Are there any questions?
Any questions from Ms. Deborah?
We've reviewed these agreements for some of our other clients, and it looks like these other versions that we kind of ultimately worked out with these would do. So I don't have any concerns, but if it turns out that there's a version that we revised that this one is not, if you give the superintendent the authority to go with that other version, that would be great. But again, in my quick scanning of it, and I can't get to my office stuff, it does look like the version that we previously revised.
So basically, Ms. Deborah, this collaborative is just to gather information.
Yes. They are, we found them to be a great resource in the previous district I was in. They came to a couple of board meetings virtually to just provide some update about the the virus and so forth. They also provide information and suggestions around the testing that is being done and has been done. They are in multiple states now. And so we will be adding to what we can retrieve from their website, which is they do have a website, the ABC Science Collaborative website. But in addition to the website, we would now be able to be invited to their monthly update meetings, and we can get the information that's hot off the press, if you will, that they're providing to the districts that are currently participating.
Okay, need a motion if we don't have any more questions.
I move that we move forward with the ABC Science Collaborative with signing of the MOU.
Second.
Motion has been moved and properly seconded to move forward with the ABC collaborative, science collaborative, as it has been motioned with the memorandum of understanding. Hearing that motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. There's also the DUA. Do they need to indicate that separately?
Yeah, well, I thought they were going to approve both of them at one time if they were linked on this website.
Yes, they are linked together.
Yeah, I think, yes, just so the board is clear, there are technically two agreements that are being recommended.
Okay, can you?
They connect to each other.
I don't see that on my screen. That's why I didn't say it. But I will amend my motion to say, I move that we approve the ABC Science Collaborative MOU and DUA.
Yes.
All right. Who seconded that motion? Was that Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Okay. Do you accept that, Ms. Harrison, and still will second that motion?
Yes, I do.
All right. You heard the motion. I'm gonna say it in this respect this time, as it has been stated. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Board member, Ms. Bird Robinson. Is she no longer with us?
She's on mute, looks like it.
Okay, board member.
Aye.
Excuse me?
Aye.
She said aye?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Ms. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Jenkins?
Aye.
And O.D. Sykes? I'm going to say aye. That the record reflect approval from the board members, unanimous approval from the board members present.
Thank you all so much. I really appreciate that because knowledge is power. So as we move towards the next and my final topic I need to present, the K-12 testing program. The North Carolina DHHS K-12 testing and staffing program awarded Weldon City Schools $200,000 to create screening and/or diagnostic testing programs. We were connected with the vendor Mako for our testing needs. Ms. Bird Robinson and Mrs. K. Robinson attended the webinar with Dr. Myrick and myself with the Mako as well as the DHHS representative on what they are able to provide for us and what this program would do for our district. This program has the ability or gives us the opportunity to hire an additional registered nurse, or a nurse extender, which may be an LPN, to facilitate our testing program. Our district, we determine what type of testing will be done in our district and what type of screening. We have a video, a short video in which you all are able to see how this screening or this diagnostic assessment is done, or the delivery of the swab for our students and for our staff. As Thomas pulls it up. Only students and staff are available or able to participate in this program. Our students and staff, the testing will be done within our own school building. They are for students who are asymptomatic and staff or symptomatic. They are able to be screened with a rapid test and get results in 15 minutes. This method is a less invasive method of testing. And also parents have to opt in to this program. So I think we're ready. We're gonna watch this short video if you all have not already seen it, of the process of MACO operating within our school buildings.
MACO is honored to get to partner with Vance County. We're so happy to get back to this community and work alongside the schools to help the kids, the teachers, and the community stay safe during this time and help them in whatever way we can. Be in person, but be safe. So we're excited. We're performing the anterior nasal swab. So we take a swab about 3/4 inch up the nose and we lightly swirl it around 4 times on each nostril. It's about 15 seconds total. This test is very easy for children because the anterior nasal swab only goes about 3/4 inch, so it's not very invasive, but it's super effective, and the swab we use is super soft, so kids actually say that it's ticklish because of the little bristles, so it's easy, it's 15 seconds, we're out before they know it.
High five? Awesome.
It's important for schools to routinely test students on site for quality control. I mean, if students go get tested off-site, then we don't know who's testing them, we don't know where they're getting tested. If they test on-site, then the schools know who's testing the kids and what exactly is going on site. We make sure that the people that we send out are the highest level of people that are going to be administering the test. We make sure that the kids or whoever's getting tested is walked through the test and make sure they feel safe. As soon as the testing is done, we run it right back over to the lab and send the results back as quickly as possible.
For me, being able to test kids, I feel like I'm playing such an important role in helping them stay safe, and I know that swabbing might make kids nervous the first time, so it's fun just to be there for them and show them, you know, it's easy and it's fun and it's going to be safe.
Good job. All right, so that was just a snippet of the process of the diagnostic testing. Are there any questions about the program thus far?
Ms. Deborah, I'd just like to make a comment. Ms. Bird Robinson and I attended the webinar. It was very informative, and I feel like we should move forward with this opportunity. As a person with immune deficiency myself, I've been in and out of the hospital for the last year, and I get swabbed every time I have to go into the hospital. And so I know what that's going to be, and it doesn't hurt at all. Also, I think that this is a great opportunity for our parents, so they won't have to try to get into a doctor's office. This is something that the school system can provide for them, and that will also save them some funds in getting in and have to pay co-pays and all of this. And we know right on hand what's going on with their child. And we can relay that to them immediately, and we won't have to wait.
Thank you. Ms. Bird Robinson, would you like to add anything, or Dr. Myrick?
No, I think Ms. Robinson summed it up well.
One thing I will add, I know that Coach Lynch at the last meeting was talking about, maybe testing the athletes and so forth. So participating in this testing program will give us the opportunity to add the athletic piece as part of the way that we develop the program.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? I did want to add that I did reach out to our regional nurse consultant for DHHS, and she talked extensively about it. And she said the state actually has 2 vendors, and she was excited that Mako was serving our region, because she said they have everything in order. She said the other districts that have used them, there have not been any negatives, because I called and asked her what would be the drawbacks, because I saw so many possibilities for us and opportunities to kind of help us continue with our work to prevent the spread. So with that being said, I submit the K-12 testing program to our board for discussion and ask if you all would make a motion to approve this program.
All right, do we have any further questions? All right, hearing none, a motion would be in order.
Motion to approve the K-12 testing program.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded to approve the K-12 testing program. You've heard that motion. Is there any unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? O.D. Sykes, nay. Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Bird Robinson? Ms. Kay Robinson?
Yes, for Bird Robinson.
Okay, Ms. Kay Robinson?
I'm muted. I'm sorry. Aye.
All right. Ms. Jenkins?
Aye.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Let the record reflect 5-1 vote, and the motion passes 5-4-1 against. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, board. We appreciate you all helping us to help our community. Last but not least, I see Mr. Robestow has come. And if we can allow him to share with you all updates, we allow him 5 minutes and share updates and answer any questions you may have. Hello, Mr. Robestow.
Hello, how y'all doing this evening? You look like you've had another busy day or evening. So thank you for inviting me. And I'll just give you a fairly quick update. We put out our report today. In 1 week, in the last 7 days, we have added 193 new positive cases. We have over 254 people that have not recovered yet from their COVID infection. We are at a 12% positive rate when our goal is to be less than 5% for us to have any semblance of normalcy. We are seeing finally a little bit of an uptick in vaccines. We are at 46% of the population that are eligible for vaccine are partially vaccinated, and 41% is fully vaccinated. We have had 116 Halifax County citizens that have died with COVID-related complications. The largest age group that's being infected is 25 through 49 years old. I continue to be very impressed with the fact that your school system and the county school system chose to mandate the masks. And thankfully, Roanoke Rapids Graded School District has also just decided to do that. I think it's your best opportunity to get through the school year and keep the kids in school. And I would commend your efforts to have the testing program done in your school. It is going to be the best way for you to have good data. And as was mentioned, for kids to be able to get tested and staff without having to try to go out and figure out where to get it done. Mako, an exceptional company for getting this done. You are very fortunate that you were able to get them. We've worked with others in the past that have not stood up to their requirements. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions? None from this one.
All right, well, thank you so much, Mr. Robusto.
Thank
And Mr. Robusto is planning to be with us at our town hall meeting. And so I just lastly want to encourage people, please submit your questions, because there's no need to wonder when you can ask the question and get an answer. Thank you, school board, once again for working so diligently to make sure that our children can stay in school. Thank you so much. And at this time, I ask Mr. Lynch to come forward and do his presentation about athletics.
Thank you.
Good evening
Mr.
again, everyone.
Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening.
Today, I would like to briefly speak with you about some athletic updates. First thing I would like to talk about is our transition. The first thing on the transition I would like to talk about is our preparation for competition. As of now, all our fall sports are operating and getting prepared for competition. As of 5 o'clock today, our volleyball team competed against KIP. I mentioned that earlier. They won the first match. I'm not sure about the next 2 out of 3, but they were looking extremely good out there today. So I think they're going to turn out to be pretty good. Next, I would like to talk about our student athlete enthusiasm. All our students seem to be very excited about getting back on the floor and getting on the field. They often speak about, not being able to play for the last year and a half, and they're so excited about it. So we're glad about that. As far as complying with COVID-19 guidelines, all our students are complying with the guidelines on and off the court in the field. As of now, we've only had one student athlete to be quarantined. He was quarantined because he came into close contact with a family member that was tested positive COVID-19, but he was able to produce a negative test. So we're thankful for that. All right, next, I would like to go on to talk about helmet safety. And I would like for you to please bear with me with this one, because I really want to take my time with this one here. As far as safety, helmet safety. First, I want to talk about 10-year expirations. The CDC and the North Carolina High School Athletic Association says that you can no longer use a helmet that is 10 years or more in age. Because after 10 years, they can no longer be reconditioned, nor can they be recertified. So after 10 years, it is over for a helmet. The next step for a helmet that is more than 10 years old, I don't care if it was recertified the previous 5 years, it needs to go into the garbage. This is no good for an athlete. Next, I want to talk about inadequate padding. If a helmet hasn't been reconditioned over several years, the inside padding starts to crack. And that can be extremely dangerous for not only our kids, but any kids that is wearing a helmet and playing football. Next, I would like to talk about the 1-year expiration for conditioning. All reconditioning certification expires after 1 year. All of them expires after 1 year. And every helmet that we have in our football facilities have not been recertified nor reconditioned in about the last 5 or 10 years. And I consider that a problem. Next, I want to talk about improper fit. At least 20% of our football players are out there wearing helmets that do not fit properly. And that's why I would like to recommend the purchase of 40 new helmets, along with 15 new cheering uniforms and 15 sets of pom-poms as soon as possible. Because our cheerleaders do not have uniforms either, nor pom-poms. Next, I would like to talk about I got helmet recommendation, I would say equipment recommendation. The helmet I would like to purchase for our students would be one of these two helmets here that I have listed. The first one would be the Shoot Vengeance Pro. It is 4.5 star rated. The purchase price is $323 per helmet, which would come out to be $12,920 for 40 helmets. Again, this helmet would be rated at 4.5 stars. It is an older helmet, but it is safe. The next helmet I would like to talk about is a newer model helmet. That's what most of the high schools are going to, and all of the college and pros are now playing with. And that is the Shoot F7. That's the professional grade helmet. It is one of the very few helmets that is 5-star rated. And each one of those helmets will cost $723 per helmet. And to purchase 40 of those helmets, it would cost us $30,955.08. Cheering uniforms. The cheering uniforms, we wanted to purchase 15. We wanted to purchase 15 uniforms, and the vendor would be cheer foam. For each uniform, it would cost, to get all 15 uniforms, it would be $2,242.36. And for one set of pom-poms, it would be $11.99. No, that's for one individual, but for a set, it would be $23.98. The cost of 15 sets of pom-poms would be $527.56. And I would like to ask the board to please purchase these items as soon as possible. Hopefully we can have them within the next 4 to 5 days if possible, or earlier. Are there any questions?
Coach Lynn.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yes.
With those football helmets, I heard you saying it's disturbing. You said that the football helmets that we have, did I understand you to say that they had not been conditioned?
In over 5, well, I've seen about 6 that have been conditioned in 2015. The rest of them is about 2011 or 2010. For about 5 to 10 years that we are behind. And they're all more than 15 years old, which means there's nothing we can really do with them anyway.
Okay. And in looking at the helmets that you, because, we don't want our children, as you said, their heads need to be protected while they're out there playing football. And I know that you submitted 2, I guess, for us to kind of look at to see which way we would go. You said one helmet was a 4-star?
Yes, 4.5 stars. Yes, sir. The Vengeance, the Shoot Vengeance.
That's the first one we saw for $12,000 and some odd dollars.
Yes, sir.
Mr.
And
Evans,
the second one, is he sharing the screen again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And the second one is you said that's a professional grade helmet?
Yes, it's the Shoot F7. That's what most of the high school players are going to. All colleges are already using that helmet, and I believe every one of the professionals are using that style helmet.
And how long what grade is that helmet? You said that's a what star?
That is a 5-star.
So it's 5 the top of the line?
Yes.
Okay, and how long do these helmets last?
10 years. 10 years. And these are the top of the line. They still only last 10 years. if they've been conditioned and recertified. They can be recertified every 5 years, but must be conditioned every year.
Okay. How about the football players' uniforms? Are they everything good with that?
We have enough tops, but there are only 15 pair of playing pants. But we are planning on using the practice pants if we cannot get any new game pants.
Have you inquired about the pants that you're talking about for the football players, our student athletes?
Yes, I spoke with Miss Campbell. She told me to get her 3 quotes. I told her I saw them on at Epic Sports. She told me just get her the quotes and get the requisition in.
Okay. All right. Well, personally, I think I don't know how the rest of the board will feel, and I know it seemed to be expensive, but I think I would like to see our football players get the 5-star helmets. That's just me. I mean, we're talking about 10 years worth of life out of the helmet, according to what Coach Lynch said, and conditioning them every year. And you say every 5 years they have to be recertified, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I would like to see us do the 5-star helmet.
And I can add, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Well, if I can, I would like to add that these new helmets, they are built with built-in shocks at the top to absorb major impact. So that's one reason why they're a little bit more expensive than the other.
And that's the 5-star helmet, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
And can you speak a little bit about the cost for, let's speak a little bit about the cost for reconditioning and the recertification.
I don't know the exact cost, but I know that Shoot has a reconditioning department. So all we have to do is call them and get the quote, and we can get the helmets together and send them to them once a year. They will get them back to us during off. That's my goal. But I can get back with you with the exact price tomorrow. And it's going to depend on the number of helmets that I send, and probably the type of helmet also.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes, ma'am.
You're saying that both of the helmets last only 10 years, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes.
Kimberly Robinson, I have a question. Does this include, have you looked at the middle school helmets, or is that somebody else's job to do?
I've spoken with the middle school coach. I believe he said he have all his helmet now. He just purchased, I believe, 4 more, and I think that was all that he needed. But usually the middle school athletic director handles that, but I try to make sure that I stay in close contact with what they're doing, so we're kind of doing the same thing.
Okay. Okay. All I like to have to say about it, Mr. Seitz and Coach Lynch, is that I attended a webinar today regarding the governance of school boards, and it should be in our policies that we make sure that there is a prevention for concussions and head injuries. That should already be in our policies. And so that supports the purchase of whatever we need to purchase to make our student athletes safe for football.
Thank you. Yes, it is. I went through the protocols and everything with the parents on the parent meeting, I believe a week and a half ago. And it is in the book that's going to be located in the front office of Weldon High School. If you want to look at the book and go through the protocols, I will have those documents in there also.
Coach Lynch.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
I'm just fine, Coach.
All right. First off, with those helmets having been recertified or reconditioned about 10 years, some of those are already dangerous. If the helmet wasn't used, now but maybe once or twice a year. I would highly recommend the 5-year. It's more expensive, but anytime you're dealing with injury to the upper extremity, the first thing they're gonna confiscate is the helmet.
That's right.
That's where they're gonna start. And from there, if you don't have a top helmet, then you might as well open up your checkbook for a blank check.
I agree.
In terms of your football pants, personally, I think practice pants should stay practice pants. I think you should, when you look at your budget, you get with Ms. Campbell, and I don't know if you're talking about 20 pair, 25, but you know, you're gonna have a bunch of kids gonna wear medium. You know, some gonna be at the extreme side. So you're gonna have to order a little bit more than what you originally look at. Same thing gonna be with the helmets. Some gonna just wear 7. It's gonna be a bunch that wear size 7 helmet, but you're gonna have to have those odd size so that you can fit them in. And then from there you can just follow the trend, getting them reconditioned, getting them recertified. You may not have to get them all. If you order 40 helmets, heck, we only use 25 of them. You know, so the other ones may be sitting on the shelf that's not being used, and that may save some on recondition and whatnot. But I hope if we have 40 players, you know, looking for those numbers. But I don't think you need to shortchange any kind of equipment out there in football or any other sport. They are our student athletes, and they deserve safety first. If we can't put them out there safely, then I think we need to do away with the program. That's it.
Thank you so much, Coach, and I agree with everything you said.
I agree too.
So, is there any other comment or question? Ms. Jenkins, Ms. Harrison?
Oh, no question, no comment.
Okay. So I guess a motion, is everybody fine with the 5-star helmet that, and I can't say it any better than what Board Member Williams said it. I think we need to put it out there for our children to have what they need, and like I said, practice pants need to stay practice pants, and we need to make sure that they have uniform. Everybody that he's mentioned tonight, I think, you know, we need to move forward, because he has indicated to us that don't have uniforms, enough pants, the helmet's outdated. He mentioned the uniforms and things needed for cheerleaders. He said they didn't have anything. And that's his report. I think we need to be saying, let's support our AD and making sure that everybody that he mentioned have what they need to perform, or not, well, perform or to represent Weldon City Schools District in a great way. If we don't have any other questions.
Look great if you don't play great.
Yeah. A motion would be in order then that we support that 5-star helmet, and the football players get what they need to complete their uniform, and whatever the cheerleaders and all need to complete their uniforms, as he said, whatever it is that he presented to us tonight. I mean, it's not really a blank check, but to get what we need for our student athletes.
One question right quick before I ask this motion. Have the Coach Lynch, do you know if the middle school has reconditioned or recertified their helmets as well?
I do not know for sure, but I can talk to the athletic director tomorrow.
Okay. we would like for that to happen if that's what the next step is, or if we need to buy new ones. If he only needs the 4 that he's already purchased, fine. But we want to make sure that they are safe for our middle schoolers as well.
And Ms. Bird, excuse me, Ms. K. Robinson, not trying to get you to motion it, but if you are the one that should decide to make the motion, I think we could include that in the motion tonight to make sure we cover that as well.
Okay. I move that we accept the recommendations from Coach Lynch regarding the helmet, the 5-star helmet, the football pants, and the cheerleading uniforms and pom-poms, and ensure that the middle school has everything that they need and is updated, recertified, or need new ones. Did I cover everything?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Second.
All right, the motion has been moved and properly seconded to acquire all of the named and necessary equipment for our athletic department as it has been listed by our AD, and to also include necessary items for our middle school student athletes as well. That was motioned by Ms. K. Robinson and seconded by Mr. Williams. You heard that motion. All in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? And I'll start at OD Sykes, aye. Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jenkins?
Aye.
Mrs. Harrison?
Yes.
Mrs. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
All right, let the record reflect unanimous approval from the 6 board members at our meeting tonight. Thank you so much, Coach Lynch, and we're looking forward to our student athletes, as Mr. Williams said, looking good, and we also want them to play good, but they're representing our district. Thank you so very much, sir. And I'll even say this: if you should find anything else that is needed to make our athletic program better, please, sir, just come share it with Dr. Myrick, so we can be updated as a board, because we want to make sure that we do what we can do to support our student athletes in that respect.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Do we need to have a break, or do everybody want to keep going?
Keep going.
Mr. Sykes,
Yeah.
if I can, and I do apologize, I was in transition, but I did have a question. Wanted to follow up on a question that I had in a previous board meeting concerning the air conditioner in at the elementary school. It was out in several areas, some classrooms, the cafeteria, and I think it was another place. So just wanted to see where we were with that.
I know that the air is still out in the cafeteria. Ms. Jones, the other areas she mentioned, are those areas still out as well?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, no, those rooms have not been repaired. However, that is part of the funding that we have to look at that. So that's one of the things that Ms. Austin is working on with Mr. Turner and with Attorney Malone. We're trying to move as quickly as we can to remedy that.
So what are we doing in the interim? Because we have children in the building and our employees, and as hot as it's been, we're saying that they still don't have air in those areas.
That's correct. In the cafeteria, there are fans in the cafeteria areas.
Right, we no longer eat in the cafeteria.
And the students are eating in their classrooms.
But the classrooms are hot based on what you just shared with me. And we're talking about 100-degree weather. And we have our students and our teachers and our staff, cafeteria staff, in a hot room like that, and we have not taken the necessary steps to kind of speed this up, because this has been a while since we talked about this, at least a couple of weeks.
You are correct. And as I said, we are working towards getting that taken care of. But in the meantime, I can work with Ms. Jones to see if there's anywhere else in her building where those classrooms are hot. And I'm sure that she's probably already looked at those spaces and try to just relocate some children if necessary, so that they can be in a cooler area.
And what can we do about the cafeteria? Because they are cooking in there. It's already hot with the stove and oven or whatever they're using. And then you're talking about heat on top of that. What are we doing to support them?
One of the things that we may consider, and this is something I will have to discuss with Ms. Garner, is maybe the elementary school food could be possibly prepared at another site and then brought over. But I'm going to ask her to come to the mic and at this time to talk about.
I shared with my staff yesterday, and I told them, I know it's hot in here, but if I talk to Dr. Merritt, the only site available that large enough to hold all of our staff at the elementary is the middle school. We will have to transport the food back and forth from the middle to the elementary. And in order to do that, we're gonna need a vehicle. We already have the van. They said they will stay there and work in the heat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Dr. Myron, have we even had anyone to come out and to check it to see where we are with things or what we need?
I will have to go back with Mr. Turner. From the conversation that I've had with him, he's had someone to come out and look at it, and that was before I got here, I believe, because I think that unit was out prior to my coming this summer, if I'm not mistaken, because that was a part of what was written into the plan that Ms. Austin wrote as part of the federal application for the ESSER funds.
Which brings me back to, why is it August? And I know it was prior to you, because I know that this was, I want to say at the end of last school year, and I could be wrong. But my question is, as long as we've had all summer and we still have not gotten the air fixed in there so that our employees can work in an environment that's conducive and our children eat in the cafeteria if that's where we choose to have their meals. It's a problem. It's a huge problem for me. So if we can go ahead and get on that tomorrow to see where we are, what we can do, I would appreciate that.
Thank you.
And Dr. Myrick, again, you were not here. And I say this with great respect and humility. That gym is at the high school. It's just horrifyingly hot. I mean, our children are practicing in there, and I have personally seen fans, students pass out with asthma. They regurgitated because they got so hot in there in that gym. And we have these ESSER funds. We really need to get air conditioning in that gym at the high school immediately. And this is pre Myrick, if I can say it in that respect. this goes back years on top of years on top of years. And now that we have these ESSER funds, I hope that we will do what needs to be done. Go ahead on and get some bidding done, that we can get air conditioned in that gym. It is extremely hot, and there's no other way to say it. It's the way I spell warm when I go in that gym is HOT. That's how hot it is in there. You can't say warm. It is horrifyingly hot. And please, we need to do something about that as well. And then we have the money to do it. So to me, it shouldn't be any excuse.
We will get on it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's move on since we don't need to break. Public forum. Do we have persons for public forum, Dr. Myrick?
Yes, sir, we do. We have two people who stopped by the central office. We have two individuals who stopped by the central office to sign up for public comment. Our first person is Ms. Regina Brooks.
Is she present?
Yes, Ms. Brooks is here, and our second person is Ms. Latoya Arrington, and I don't believe she is present.
Okay. All right. Dr. Myrick, since you are in the boardroom, or is Mr. Redmond, is he still available?
Yes, he's still here.
All right. Before Mrs. Brooks start, Mr. Redmond, if I can get you to keep the 3-minute time. Would you do that for us, Mr. Redmond?
I will.
Okay, and just, if you will, just say time when you reach the 3 minutes. Is Mrs. Brooks ready?
Yes, she's on her way to the microphone now.
Okay, and when Mrs. Brooks is ready, let me know when you're ready, Mr. Redmond.
Mrs. Brooks, are you ready?
Good afternoon.
Hold on, Ms. Brooks, if you would. Mr. Redmond, are you ready?
He's ready.
Okay, if you can start, Ms. Brooks.
Good afternoon. Good night. Tonight, I release in the atmosphere the names of Dr. Alton Anderson, Dr. Lucia Batter, Mr. John Green, and Mr. Marcel Smith. If you erase all the mistakes of your past, you will also erase all the wisdom of your future. So let's keep it real. I'm Regina Bryant Brooks, a citizen of Weldon who has been pushed to the back of the bus for 23 years after the death of a husband. I say that without malice, but I say it in truth. I'm not an employee of Weldon City Schools. I signed to speak at the public forum in August. Never again should you guys look at me as if I am someone not to be handled with. You see, I'm an August girl. Don't play. Nobody playing English will demand as much respect as I am. A Black African-American female who can walk it and talk it. I demand respect from all employees. Some of you sit idly by. You watched a former superintendent degrade my integrity. No longer. Your smile was not shown. You were not kind. You compromised. You were very negative. My son and students were treated and were created in a hostile education environment. You continue to bring familiar spirits to Weldon City Schools. Look in the book, read the book, the Bible. You should consider highly qualified people living here. I'm not your cup of tea, but I will be your outside evaluator. My steps are real. Don't think that I come here to play. I haven't been coming for 23 years to play, and I'm not playing tonight. If you cannot withstand the storm, then find another place to invest in. The Holy Spirit gave me permission, and I will take it, and I am taking it until it tells me to cease. So you make sure the children are learning. I present to you tonight eyelashes and hair, something that I've seen over and over and over. You make sure that the eyelashes and the hair do not interfere in the children's education as I see them up and down the streets interfering. Your community of learners are seeing Weldon City School in a very transparent light. Follow the tip buses, Mr. Superintendent, in the district. Ask the parents why the children of Weldon City School District are enrolling and attending KIP and maybe some private schools. I have been giving you ideas and everything for the past 23 years. Thank you so much. Have a good year.
That concludes our public comments, Mr. Chair.
All right. Miss Latoya Arrington is not there?
No, sir.
All right. All righty. Thank you so much for this section of public comments. And thank you for your words, Ms. Brooks. All right, moving on now to our consent agenda. A motion would be in order to approve the consent agenda as we have done. And of course, remember, we did pull federal programs application and made that 10C. Motion is in order to approve the consent agenda.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as printed. With the deletion.
All right. Motion has been moved and properly seconded to approve the consent agenda for tonight. And it has been properly seconded. You've heard that motion. Is there any unreadiness? Hearing none. All in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Mrs. Harrison?
Yes.
Mrs. Jenkins? Mrs. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
Mr. Williams? Mr. Williams?
I was muted. Yes.
Okay. And OD Sykes, aye. Let the record reflect unanimous approval of the consent agenda by the 6 board members present. Moving on now to 10, item number 10, our work session, board work session. Board members, we need to choose a date in which we can do a work session. Do we have some proposed dates that we might be able to work with? Do you all want to do it during the week? Do you want to do it on a Saturday? However, whatever. We also will need to look at board retreat later on as far as a date as well. So do you all want to decide on a work session date tonight and a board retreat date tonight? I hope we can.
Reverend Sykes.
Yes.
The information that we provided to Dr. Myrick, are we not looking at those dates?
mean, that's for us to decide tonight.
What
Is
dates
every-
were those?
The dates that he sent to us.
Would you like me to call those dates out?
That's fine.
Okay, we have Thursday, September the 2nd, Monday, September 13th, Monday, October 4th, Tuesday, October the 5th, Wednesday, October the 6th, or Thursday, October 7th.
Say those dates one more time for us. September the 2nd.
September 13th, October 4th through 7th.
Okay.
And that was for the retreat or the work session?
That's a work session.
Budget work session.
Okay. Do you have the tally of who responded and what won the tally?
Only 3 responded to the survey that I sent out, and 2 selected September 2nd.
I think I was one of those September 2nd, and my rationale was we need to know the budget earlier than later. So if we need to, make some changes and do some things with our budget, we need to be aware of it now instead of waiting to October.
I would agree with that if we could do it on the September the 2nd or no later than September the 13th, only because of what may need to be done as far as preparation, which I'm hoping has already taken place. Right now, I could work either one of those days.
Neither of those will work for me, but I certainly support what we decide as a board.
September the 2nd is good for me.
Mr. Williams, Ms. Jenkins, do y'all have?
September 2nd works.
Okay. Ms. Jenkins, do you have a preference?
September the 2nd is fine with me.
Okay. And of course, we don't have Ms. Hale tonight. I don't know if she will be available that day or not. No time that day, Ms. Bird Robinson, will work for you.
No. I have previous engagements on both of those dates, but again, I support, what you all decide.
Okay. So board, what say ye? Do y'all want to go ahead with the 2nd?
What time?
What time?
Well, I mean, if we can meet earlier than 5:30, that's fine with me. We should be able to end up a little sooner.
The times that were on the form were 5:30 to 7, 5 to 6:30, or 6:30 to 8, but of course, we can always do it earlier.
So 5 to 6, you said?
5 to 6:30 was one of the options.
That's good for me.
Yeah, I'm good with 5 to 6:30.
Yes, 5 to 6:30 is good for me.
So that's September the 2nd.
Yes.
Does that need to be in the form of a vote?
No, not really. I mean, I think the chair can just, based on this information, schedule the meeting, so they don't need to vote, as long as he has enough information he thinks to make a decision.
Okay, so as of now, we're saying September the 2nd, 5 to 6:30 for work session.
Got it.
All right. So we'll go real quick to 10A.
Okay,
Mr. Williams asked about meeting location, board meeting location.
right. Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
if my memory serves me correct, we last voted in, I think it might have been December, that the board meetings would be held at the central office. I know Dr. Merritt was coming in, and you asked that it be moved to the elementary school because of guests and his family and whatnot will be coming in. I'm not aware of any other vote, but since then, we've been going from the elementary school to the high school. And I want to know, was there another vote? If not, then why aren't we back at the central office?
Well, I don't know who has been to the central office lately, but with everybody talking about space and having their distances apart, that boardroom does not present space for anyone to be in there except board members, and you really can't get all 7 board members in there comfortably with the lawyer and our superintendent. That's 9 spots for everybody to have adequate space the way it's set up now. And principals and other individuals in the community that might choose to come to a board meeting, they have to sit out in the hallway, you know, distances apart. That space is really not conducive for our board meetings. And I don't know how we can say, you know, whether somebody will come or will not come. I don't know that. And I think that we just need to have as much space as possible, unless we're just going to start saying that everybody does meetings virtually. That boardroom is not enough space at all.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but their boardroom is the same size when the vote was taken. But other than that, I can live with going to either place. But my thing is, after you ask for exception for Dr. Merritt, then it should have gone back to the board to make a decision and to vote on, and not just automatically say the high school or the elementary school, because the board has said central office. So that still should be in place unless another vote was taken.
Well, I can tell you, Mr. Williams, another vote was not taken. I simply asked the board members if they were all right with going to the elementary school or going to the high school when we had our special call meetings. We did not put it in the form of a vote to do that, but I did ask.
Yes, I know you did on 2 occasions, but we are back to it. So I think it should go back to the board for a vote instead of just assuming that we go from one to the other. I think it need to go on record as to another vote as to how we're going to do
it. However you all choose to proceed as the board, I'm fine with that. And I'm not saying that you are saying that I was doing anything out of my purview as the elected chairperson of the board, because I did ask. But however you all feel, hey, I'm 100% cool with it.
No, I'm not saying you did anything wrong. I'm just saying if you reflect back to the record, so we need to have something in the records that says otherwise.
And also, Mr. Williams, if I can add to that, looking at the size of the boardroom with
Go ahead.
the bulky furniture that's in there makes it even look smaller to me. So it means that the people who will be attending, in addition to us, will be sitting in the lobby area, is what it looks like to me. So that would be my reason for us doing it somewhere else. And also, with all the work that's going on with, with COVID-19 and this new Delta variant and all that, and the space, for me, it's a better fit for us to meet in a larger space.
Okay, I agree with that, Ms. Berry Robinson. But I still say the record should reflect there was a vote to have it elsewhere.
I'm following you.
Well, let's Attorney Malone help us with this. Do we have to take a vote to have a meeting somewhere else other than the boardroom, or the board can meet at any building, the boardroom? I mean, just give us clarity on that, and then we can knock it all in the head for this time and going forward.
So the chair is generally able to call a meeting. I think the chair, now the location of the meeting is probably not specifically addressed in your policies. I think that although I think you do kind of declare, your policy does probably say that the regular meeting, it probably does require you to specify, now think about it, where when you're going to hold a regular meeting and where it's going to be held. So to the extent that you've made a decision to change the location, the cleanest option would be to have the board vote to move the location. But I would have to look at the policy. I mean, if the majority of the board were not kind of on the same page about the location, then I would probably want to look at the policy to see exactly how it handles that. And I'm trying to find that right now. Board meeting. Let's see what we say.
But we did take a vote on that, like Mr. Williams said, that we would have the meeting in the boardroom. We did take a vote on that back in December.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of things have happened. So at the time that you voted, most boards were kind of still meeting virtually, and people, the citizens, were generally not showing up to board meetings, and most boards were kind of having staff Zoom in and participate virtually. So that decision in that setting made sense. And then boards across the state started trying to open up and meet in person more. And then we saw boards at that point starting to either move the location of the meeting to a location where more people could be more comfortably in the space, or to, one of our boards, they raffled off tickets to the public that, if they'd only have 10 or 15 people in the public, so that they could take the space that they have always used, but limit how many people could come into the meeting. So people have attempted to approach the issue of how to hold meetings during this period in very creative and different ways. It probably is cleanest for the board as a whole to make a decision about how you're going to conduct meetings going forward. And I don't know that you need to look beyond maybe even just the next meeting, because the world that we're in, as you all know, just continues to change, and what seems normal today will not be maybe 60 days from now. So it may make sense to get everybody on the same page by trying to figure out what the majority would like to do for the next meeting or 2 or 3 meetings, and then to agree to revisit it again, just as we start to learn more and more. I mean, that may be the easiest way to do it. I'm still flipping through your policy, trying to see if I see anything in here about the chair's authority to kind of pick the location of a meeting. I know he certainly can decide when, he or she can decide when to meet. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I mean, it's not really, I don't think any of this is so specific. I don't know that people really ever thought about like the location of the meeting being something that they needed to assign that to. So I don't know that these policies are going to address that specifically.
All right, board, what say ye then? Are you all right with the larger venue, or you're not all right with the larger venue? And we can decide. And if you want to say, I'll just use for an example, now through December, that we will meet at this place and we can address December when we meet in January going forward. We can do that. That's just an example.
Brother Chair.
Yes.
I mean, with that, I mean, the elementary school is fine, but I just think, I was just talking about in terms of what we have voted, and we need to do something to change it so that our meetings would be in accordance with the vote that we had taken. That's the only thing I'm saying. So I would be fine with the middle school, just have it at one consistent place.
You mean the elementary school?
Right, the elementary school at Weagle.
Okay. Is everybody all right with saying that we will continue board meetings at the elementary school from, I'll just say now until December, and then during our December's meeting, we'll make the decision to remain there or to go back to the boardroom or go to another school if that be the choice.
Larger venue definitely is best, I think, but we probably need to look at a larger area in that school where we can use for our closed session instead of the smaller room that we currently have.
Okay. Well,
and I'm just speaking for me because, in order for me to attend.
Sure. Understood. So if Ms. Kay Robinson, Ms. Harrison, Ms. Jenkins, are y'all all right with staying at the elementary school? Or I say from now to December. And December, we'll look at either going back to the central office to start the year in January, or remain there, or change to another school.
Until December.
I just use that as an example. It doesn't have to be that. I mean, y'all tell me.
December works for me.
Go ahead on.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Oh, you spoke.
No, he was saying, go ahead.
Well, it's websites it don't make any difference with me if we're going, but sometimes the people are so, we don't have those many that comes. And so it really don't make any difference which one, but if the board feel like the majority that, we will have it here to December, but I really like the boardroom the best, so, you know, but that's up to the rest of the board.
Sure. And I think just as long as board members can, everybody can just be contented with the fact that if you go back to the boardroom, you probably won't have over half of the board in the boardroom. They're gonna be virtual. I know that was a discussion point one time, you know, a whole lot of the board wasn't there. And, you know, the boardroom, and I was saying with us that board members were saying that the space was too tight, it was too confined for them, and they weren't going to come in that small boardroom. So as long as we can have that understanding, you know, probably over half of the board is going to be virtual. And those that go in the boardroom, they go in the boardroom, and those that don't, they don't.
Yeah, that's true, because look at tonight, there's only 2 board members here tonight in this.
Well, I would be there, but I'm on the weather.
I understand.
I enjoy coming to the board meetings.
Right.
I will be under the weather. I don't know. It might be infinity. I don't know. It depends on how it goes. Only God knows.
So, however you all want to do it.
We just said we'll have the board meeting, next month board meeting here at the elementary, then we'll come to a decision. We'll talk about it some other time.
I'm fine with that. However you all want to proceed.
That's fine. I'm good with that.
All right. So we'll address that next month. And for tonight, we do that by consent. Everybody basically consent. We'll come back to the elementary school next month.
Are we having a retreat?
That's a good question. Do we want to decide on a location for the retreat? Well, let's do that when we get to the, you're talking about the work session.
I don't know what we having.
We're talking about the work session.
Work session, that's fine.
The work session, where do we want to have the work session?
I mean,
Where do y'all usually have the work session at? Okay, this is all new to me. I don't know.
It varies. I mean, we've been at a school, I think, a couple of times, and we've been at the central office. So we've done retreats there. We've done retreats at other places. So, you know, it varies.
But this is the work session that we're doing. On
Right.
September the 2nd
Yes.
at 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we will have a virtual option. So, I mean, I don't know if y'all want to make it all virtual or what.
No, because I don't like the virtues. I know I'd rather be a person.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be virtual myself. So whatever location y'all want to choose, it's all right with me.
Yeah, we just go to the boardroom for this, since most of them will be virtual.
That's fine with me if y'all want to go to the boardroom.
I think if you're not expecting much of the public or staff, then that space may work. That space is tight, though, if you're from the distance.
It is.
I just do it.
So
Somebody else.
Everybody, I mean, because right now we're just wasting time. I mean, Ms. K. Robinson, you're gonna be virtual, right?
Till infinity.
Okay.
I'm
gonna be virtual. Mr. Williams, are you gonna be virtual or you gonna be in person?
No, if I'm able, I'll be in person.
All right. And Ms. Harrison and Ms. Jenkins, you all gonna be in person, right?
Yes, I'll be in
No,
person.
we're gonna be at the board meeting.
All right, well, there you have it. Boardroom it is
Are you okay with it?
for the work session. All right, and the meeting location will be at the elementary school next month, and we'll take it up next month where we would have the meetings going forward or end of the year, however it is. All right. Thank y'all so much. B10B board image. I think that's what you wanted to call it, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Mr. Chair,
yes.
My concern here is that we as board members or even administrative staff or school personnel, I think that anytime we're in the school buildings, that we should wear a mask when we're in close contact. I think it sends a bad message when we as a board have passed a policy and we get in a situation we don't adhere to the masking guideline. I think children look at where their board members, they not wearing a mask, why we had to wear one. Someone from the central office not wearing a mask, why do we have to have one? You have parents say they want my child to wear one, but they go in there and they're taught and carry on with different building administrators and they don't wear a mask. I just think it's a bad image, contrary to a policy that we have set. And I just think it was a board policy, then all of us should be expected to abide by it. You know, we say when we have meetings, the vote might be 4-3, but when we come out of there, it's a 7-0, that we all on the same page. And so I just think that overall, we need to improve that image that we have in terms of that. I just feel it's a good point. And that's, I think that's anytime you have school function, school property, that we should adhere to the policies that we mandate to everyone else. That's all, sir.
All right. And I think the board, if my memory served me correctly, and board members, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, this face covering masking was inside school buildings. It had nothing to do with outside. Am I correct?
Inside.
Yeah, no, I
Yes,
think,
it was inside.
yeah, I think that the.
That's inside.
Right. What the board,
Inside.
correct.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear. So if somebody is outside or somebody's on a football field or outside, that's a different protocol. Inside is the protocol that Mr. Williams is referring to. I just wanted clarity to make sure. So your comment is well taken, what Mr. Williams said. Any other questions or comments?
I do want to ask one clarifying question.
Yeah.
So I know the board's decision was pretty clear, at least as I understood it, that the schools are masked, student, staff, visitors, anybody that comes inside of the school. I heard someone earlier today say that they understood it to apply to the central office. Is that the board's understanding of where things stand, that the masking requirement also applies at the central office? First, for staff, students, guests, anybody that's in the central office, is that also the understanding?
Mr. Malone, to my understanding, it was anytime anyone visit the schools. Inside the school.
I got the schools, I'm saying.
And I took that to mean central office or board members or whatever. If you enter that school building, you should have a mask. On the door, it says all masks are required. And that was from something that we mandated.
And you can do that. And I just wanted to make sure that in case I get a call, I mean, I just want to make sure that if I'm trying to help, opine, that I would be able to clearly articulate the board's position. So the board's position is, at least as I think I'm hearing it, that the masking requirement that the board approved applies to really all school system buildings, that being the schools and the central office. You're expecting inside of those buildings for people to wear masks.
Now, hold on, Mr. Malone, because now we're gonna be technical with motions, as Mr. Williams referred to earlier about voting on where we were gonna meet for board meeting. That motion that we passed said nothing about central office building. So if you're gonna include central office building, then there need to be a motion tonight that addresses that, because the motion that we passed was school building.
And Reverend Sykes, you're 100% correct. And that's why I wanted to clarify what the expectation was, because if the expectation was that it applied to central office, which I heard a board member say earlier, then I was going to recommend what you just said, which is the board probably needs to make a motion to clearly state that that requirement applies at the central office. Because if I were to get a call otherwise, I would only be able to say that my reading of the motion, and I went and I read through the thing today again, is it only applies to the schools. So if it is intended to apply to the central office, I think there needs to be a motion tonight to clarify that. If it's not intended to apply and you're just letting it happen however it's happening, then that's fine too. But I just want to make sure that if the board believes it is given direction about the central office, my answer was going to be that I don't think that the motion previously made was sufficiently clear that it does apply.
Mr. Sykes.
Yes.
Okay. May I make a motion?
Yes, sir. If there's no further discussion.
No discussion here.
Okay, then I'd like to make a motion that the central office be included in the masking requirement.
And Mr. Williams, if you don't mind, the terminology that this board used was face covering / mask.
Okay, face covering / mask. I stand corrected.
Second.
Motion has been moved by Mr. Williams and seconded by Ms. Kay Robinson that we extend also to our central services building the requirement or mandate, whichever one it was, for the central office of the face covering / mask. You heard that motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Ms. Jenkins?
Aye.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Kay Robinson?
Aye.
O.D. Sykes? Nay. Ms. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
All right, thank you so much. Let the record reflect that motion passes 5 in favor and 1 opposed for our central office building. And so now we have that in place as well. And as we passed it, that's for inside the building. That has nothing to do with outside of the property. That's for inside the building.
That's my understanding, yes.
All right, got it covered. Thank you, Mr. Williams. All right, Miss Kay Robinson? You
No,
wanted to pull federal programs application for the question?
yes, since it was just added this afternoon, I just want a short breakdown on what we have applied for right quick and what it will bring if it's funded for Weldon City Schools to our system. So parents, employees, and this board will be aware.
Good afternoon. The federal programs is our Title I, which we've done consultation with teachers, parents, and administration. We all came together and did a needs assessment with each of the schools. So the information is included in the application is based on our strategic goals, plans that we've already set in place. Title I funds, we apply for every year. It's based on our students that are high poverty, so the percentage of students, and it's an entitlement grant. It's just the process that we have to do the paperwork, every year to show that we've met all of the standards and what's required. The other one is Title II. Title II is the grant that services our Human Resource Department, which is based on teacher effectiveness. Again, that is a grant that we have received, and it's called a consolidated application where we have more than one application. That's why they're broken up into three. The Title II, we work with our beginning teachers. Information is there. We as well have recruitment supplies and also reimbursement. This is where the reimbursement comes for teachers when they take courses and come back and be reimbursed from the district. The next one is Title IV-A, which that particular grant covers the healthy whole child. So we're able to do initiatives such as our communities and schools that we have at the high school. We've done the dinner badge out of that grant. These are things that have been included in that grant. Things as reference to project-based learning is included there as well.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the Title I, Title II, and Title IV grants to move forward.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been moved to approve the federal programs applications. I think it's for Title I, II, and IV. Is that correct, Ms.?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
And if I can also just take 1 minute to elaborate on the ESSA.
Let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, since the motion is on the floor, let me carry that motion. Thank you. Motion has been moved and properly second to approve the aforestated federal program applications for Title I, II, and IV. You've heard that motion. Is there any further discussion from board members? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Mrs. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Kay Robinson?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Jenkins? O.D. Sykes, aye. Let the record reflect unanimous approval of the 6 board members present tonight. Mrs. Austin, you had something additional?
Yes, sir. I just want to kind of briefly share, and Dr. Mark and I will share, we will come together tomorrow with the outline of our plan. But to say about the ESSA and the air conditioning, we are aware. I've worked a lot with Mr. Malone, and I think he'll be able to say we've had to extend our processes due to information that constantly comes down from DPI and ensuring that we are legally in line with doing the bids. We set our bids out at first, and we didn't have the proper terminology. So we've had to send them out again. The process also took place with announcing that we were doing it and giving vendors the opportunity to come and look at. Mr. Turner had several people come to just kind of look at what we needed done, and so that they could be a part of the actual bid. So just, I think this today, I've had conversation with Attorney Malone, And we're moving forward with a company out of Raleigh. But the process will still be that they'll come in and we'll have to consult and meet and share the expectations and the specifications. And according to Attorney Malone, and then come up with another contract in order to move forward with that. Another process will go, because then the actual people to do the work will also have to put in bids. We are dealing with federal monies, and it's very important that we're transparent. We can't just call Peyton or anyone in particular to just come out and do the process. We do have processes that we must complete. So we are working as hard. We have been working on it, again, from the inception of the funding. But it's just a process that we're having to go to ensure that we are in compliance.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, board retreat number 11.
So the dates that were in the document for board retreat were all on Saturdays, and one was September the 25th, October 9th, and October the 23rd. And then also there was some suggestions about who we were asked to facilitate the discussion, to facilitate the retreat, rather. And also some topics for the retreat.
I will not be available on the October 23rd date. The other two I can work with, I do believe. Do we have a time for that?
The times were 9 to 2, 9:30 to 2:30, or 8:30 to 1:30.
Okay.
Dr. Merritt, can you get those dates again, please?
Yes, sir. September 25th, October 9th, and October 23rd. All dates are on Saturday.
I'm good with October the 9th. The 23rd is going to be a little problem for me.
I just need the time again.
I can do any of those days, but October 9th does not work for me.
Anyone else?
No, sites, any of those dates good for me. But I think we need to try to get it done as close as possible, because, you know, we want to get those people some feedback on their house, or not the house, on the pre-K building.
Right.
You know, we don't want to hold them up. So I would say no later than the 9th. We don't want them thinking we're not interested, or we need to let them know we aren't.
Right. I agree. Yeah, the 23rd of October is going to be good for me. The 9th is better for me. And I guess I'll step out on a whim and say that the 25th, I might be able to work that, the 25th.
I'm good with that.
I'm good. No.
Were you saying something, Mrs. Harrison?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, you have a date that you're available?
25th. I think I said the 25th.
Okay. Ms. K. Robinson, what date? You said the 23rd you were not available, right? Of October.
Right. But
Okay.
I can make it available if I had to.
Ms. Jenkins, do you have a specific date?
No, at the end.
So I guess any of them will work for you then, right?
Oh, no, right now.
So it seems like everybody's all right with the 25th right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And are we saying 9 to 2?
Yes.
What time was that, Dr. Myrick, for that day? Was it?
The 9 to 2, 9:30 to 2:30, or 8:30 to 1:30.
The earlier the better for me.
I'm good with the 9 to 2. Everybody else, so you all right with 9 to 2?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Ms. K. Robinson,
I'm good.
Ms. Jenkins?
I don't know right now.
Okay, Ms. Bird Robinson, Mr. Williams, y'all all right with 9 to 2?
Good.
I can
All
work
right.
that.
25th, then 9 until 2 is our scheduled board retreat. Are we going to be there, or are we going to look at a different venue like we've done our board retreats before? And we have used in time past, and I know we remember this, we have gone to Chamber of Commerce, we've gone to a hotel, we've gone to central office. Do y'all have a specific spot?
Can we look at the chamber, Dr. Myrick, to see if that's available? And if so, I don't remember if they charge this or not. So can we check to see how much it costs, and then if it's available?
Okay, and I can also check the new building at the community college, because when I spoke to the president, I asked about using that facility, and he said, you know, he may be able to let us use it free of charge. They have a conference room in I can't think of the name of the building, but it's that newest building.
The center? Is it the center?
No, it's not the center. It's the advanced, thank you, the advanced manufacturing building.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice building.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I would check the chamber and with the community college.
If we can get it.
And if we're going to do those, and it's not going to be at the central office, we certainly need to make sure that it is accessible virtually.
Okay, well, I will make sure that I work with Mr. Redmond on that. But but I know that the community college will be. But he and I will get together on that and make sure that whichever location we choose, we will be able to have powerful connection there. And is there another place you would like for me to look into?
You know, I'm fine with those options at this point.
And I'm assuming we are looking for free or relatively inexpensive?
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of the facilitator, I did list 3 on the sheet. Of course, I will have to check all of their availability to see if they are available. Are you interested in any of those 3, or do you have another suggestion? And the cost, if they charge, is there a limit?
Well, I would think, Dr. Myrick, let's see who's available first.
Okay.
And then you can just, you know, let us know how much of a cost would be associated, and then we can just respond, you know, in that regard.
Okay, would you like for me to just go down the list, starting with the first person that's on the list, Dr. Bridges?
I mean, well, I guess how many would we be looking at for the retreat? Are we talking about 2 or are we talking about all 3? Because if we're just talking about, 2 of them, I mean, I would say just see if all 3 of them are available, because, one of them may not be available.
So in addition to us listening at speakers, we're going to have some time that we can, a specific task that we're going to be working on, or
Well,
are we just
what I was thinking is that if we have a facilitator, they wouldn't necessarily be a speaker per se, but they would guide the board through some discussions that they're having, some activities, some sort of team building activity or something like that, with the board. It wouldn't necessarily be a speaker. And so we were all, it would be helpful if I had some topics of things that the board would like discussed, so that when I talk to the person, they would have some idea about what is expected at the retreat. And I know, just listening tonight, I know one of the things that we have on there is a discussion about the buildings that we currently have.
Well, I would think then, Dr. Myrick, I'm good with Dr. Bridges, and if I recall, didn't we have Miss Fort Brown up there as well?
Yes, her name came up, and then Dr. Pat Ashley's name came up.
Yeah, I like Dr. Bridges. No disrespect to the last name that was called. I don't know that person well, and I'm not saying that they can't present, but I'm familiar with Miss Fort Brown and Dr. Bridges. I'm familiar with both of them. I think they would be good choices, and if one of them cannot come, then and Dr. Ashley can. I mean, we go with that.
Okay. And if you would like, I will send out again the possible a sheet for you to list the possible topics on that you would like to be discussed.
Sure.
I think I already submitted mine, Dr. Myrick.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
I will send it out again this right now so that you will have that. And if you don't mind, if everyone could just kind of go in there and just give me your ideas, so that when I'm talking to them, they will have some idea.
Gotcha. We'll try to get that into you ASAP.
Dr. Sykes, Chairman Sykes.
Yes.
Before we move to the adjournment, I don't believe that we discussed or we voted on what we did in closed session. I don't see it on the agenda.
We're going to get that next.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be there, but it didn't. So Attorney Malone, do we have to motion to amend the agenda to include that, or?
Yes, we do. I think that's the cleanest way to do it. And
all right.
You could probably just put it all in one motion, really, a motion to amend the agenda to add the personnel report and to approve the personnel report as amended in closed session. You could probably do it all in one motion at this point.
All right. If we can get it done in one motion, that sounds good to me. Anyone willing to make that motion?
Make a motion that we
amend the agenda to include.
That we amend the agenda to include the closed session, and that the closed section personnel report as recommended by the superintendent be approved.
As amended.
Right.
Second.
The motion has been moved and properly seconded to amend our agenda to include the personnel recommendations from closed session as they have been amended. You've heard that with the personnel report as it was amended. You've heard that motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? O.D. Sykes, aye. Mrs. Bird Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Jenkins,
Yeah.
Mrs. Harrison,
Yes.
Mrs. K. Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Let the record reflect unanimous approval of the 6 board members present. That we approve that amending of the agenda and the approval of the personnel recommendations as they had been amended, as they were amended. All right, thank you all so much. Do we have any further discussion tonight? Hearing none, we need a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Don't nobody want to leave.
Miss
Ms.
Jenkins.
Jenkins.
Oh, I couldn't hear Miss Jenkins. I declare I couldn't. I apologize. Miss Jenkins has motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been moved and properly second that we adjourn our meeting for tonight. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Can we get everybody to say it at one time if you approve?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.